This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
It's just starting to build now.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, After-Hours Dr Hobart is open every day till 10 p.m. Phone for an appointment or book online. And for added convenience, you'll also find your Hobart Chemist also open until 10. When minor accidents and illness happen, we're here for you. After Hours Dr Hobart and your Hobart Chemist, open till 10 p.m. every day.
Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, delicious in every way. Loving the taste, love it homemade. Their own recipes, freshly baked. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste.
And good morning, everybody. You're on Duff TV. We are at the home of football in southern Tasmania, North Hobart And the sun is shining. There's a rainbow over the city at the moment. And in the commentary box, you've got Aaron Roberts and Tom Green. Welcome, Tom. It's frosty up here at the top of the new commentary position because we can't work out how to make the heater go, mate, which is not a great sign.
Certainly is. Thanks very much for having me, Aaron. It's great to be here. I was actually up here yesterday as well to see Dane Swan strut his stuff for OHA, and it was interesting to see a superstar of yesteryear at 38 years of old, and I tell you what, he's still got it. And in contrast today, we're going to see the emerging stars of the future of Tasmanian football. So very, very excited to be here and looking forward to a couple of cracking contests.
So the last time these two teams met, it was the NTJFA that have had the wood over the Southerners for a period of time. So the toss had been won. I have a chat to Darryl Griffith, the coach, I should say, of the NTJFA before this game, and he's got some changes. So Jazz Freestone, the star for the NTJFA, is going forward, and the Faz in the middle for Zachary. And if I can pick up her hair, no, I can't quite see the Faz yet. Maybe he's tricked me. He tried to confuse me, but we've got Wynne Allen in the middle. Chelsea Wynne Allen, so number 20. She's going to be in the ruck to kick us off as the NTJFA in the Melbourne type strip are going to the right-hand side of the screen. It's around, what do you reckon, 2 degrees, Tom, at the moment?
Oh, yeah, we'd just be lucky to get to 2 degrees at the moment. It might be -1 in the commentary box at the moment.
Yeah, well,
we're freezing up here, mate.
Well, we are volunteering, but we are going to earn our volunteer can of Coke or whatever we get for this. So we hope you're enjoying it. It's been a pretty cool night, but there is no wind. The sun is just starting to sneak through the cloud. We've got a rainbow over the city, and we've got the ball in the middle of North Hobart, which expect this to be a little bit sticky early on, but hopefully it's not too bad as Dickinson tries to get her hands to the football. Davies just misses it, and that's just shoveled out of the pack over Will Allen. Trying to win down and get the footy. It's going to be tough for both teams to get clean possession of the ball. And one of the things that's really tough with female football at times, Tom, is the ponytails over the numbers.
Absolutely. It can be a little bit hard to distinguish. And we've seen just off the ball, we've got an umpire that's gone down. So we're just going to keep you up to date with what's happening there. They were out early, the umpires today, and they're ready to go. But one of them is in the hands of the trainers. So we'll just keep you posted on that as the STJFL move it forward. And they're going to drive it inside 50. It's a short, low, spearing ball. And it's just found the target there.
You don't very often see an umpire go down, do you? So that's a tumbling ball inside the forward 50, but it's run over the back.
I think it's gone over the back, and it's gone through for a goal.
Well, I looked down to pick up Brown's number, and it's snuck through, and we've got the first score on the board. We'll just get a replay on that one as I see this ball. So as a mark was taken, he's around about 45 metres out from goal, and literally the tumble punt over the back.
As Dwayne Russell would say, that's the chaos ball there, and I think that might have been Connie Donato who's just managed to sneak that one through for the first major of the afternoon or the morning. And as we alluded to before, the umpire, unfortunately, in the hands of the trainers. It might be a hamstring. We're not sure at the moment. I know she did sort of take a bit of a tumble, and she might be...
Yeah, she's going to have to go off, isn't she? It's not a great start. I'd imagine they've got a spare umpire here, so... An early score for the STJFL, but a loss for the umpires. That's 6 to the STJFL, a -1 to the umpires. So unfortunate, only a few minutes in, but it's unusual to see an umpire. As you mentioned, they were on the ground. They didn't do a lot of warm-ups, actually, to be fair. They may have warmed up in the sheds.
We did mention off air that perhaps they might have been a little bit underdone, but 2 minutes in and we've already seen, and they've thrown the ball up while she's still trying to get off the field, and now it's the NTJFA who are going to
So Ruby Hall, she sneaks it forward. That kick's been smothered, although it probably could have been over the top by Brown. She can't get it. The ball's been knocked out by Bannerman. Ball being thrown up again. Bannerman again wins the football. Sneaky out the side of the pack was Devine. Devine's kick's effective up towards centre wing. There's a good tussle on there. Willana can't win it, and then she laid a tackle, and I reckon she may have forced a free kick here. So a good effort from Will Allen, who's playing currently on the ball. She'll move between her and the other four. That's a long kick inside the forward 50. Fazakli came out, chopped off the top by Dunn, and a free kick here to the the STJFL. Take it away.
And a couple of early holding the ball decisions. So the umpires are red hot on that at the moment as they go in towards the middle, but that's going to be turned over to NTJFA here. Going to look to drive it towards half forward there by Let. Oh, fantastic contest there by both players. Perhaps in the back, I reckon there might have been a free kick awarded here to Morrison for NTJFA, and she'll try and drive them long. I think long kicks are the best in these sort of conditions, and that's to the hot spot. A fantastic contest. Comes to the back of the pack there for Harvey. I think Devine again, working tirelessly. Brilliant work by Weldon as she screws that one inboard, but taking a nice chest mark there in the back line for the STJFL. Look to relieve some of the pressure towards the boundary line and maybe the sanctuary of the boundary line there. Working hard in close quarters, held to her. Comes out again, and that short little 20-metre kick and a nice mark there taken by the STJFL.
So STJFL trying to build it is a sticky middle of the ground as neither team having a great lot of success as Barnes lays down and just jumps on the back, on the front of the NTJFA midfield, Ruby Hall, and she gets up with those long sleeves on. In fact, it's not Ruby Hall, she's got long sleeve on, it's Rihanna Davis. Neither team getting a lot of clean possessions.
Once again, it is a bit scrappy early.
Yeah, and look, there's a little hold there. I just think that at the moment, Lennon with the free kick, she was wanting the footy, and NTJFA just losing it, but it's been chopped off here by Wilden. She quickly releases the ball out, gets it to the middle of North Hobart Oval. Neither player can get it out as Hall just slaps it over the top, kick off the ground. Not really necessarily that effective. Harvey tries to use off the ground method as well. Now we've got a bit of break speed as the ball goes up towards half forward, and it's being taken here by Strong. Strong decides to play on around, kicks it in towards the forward 50. There's a run here and a race on, just swerving around. That was brilliant by Holtz. She then clears the football, but unfortunately the STJFL haven't cleared it. They haven't got enough, and there's going to be an opportunity. That's a whistle blown, wasn't there, Tom?
I think there was a whistle for a paid mark, but they weren't sure of the 15 metres, so she's just played on, and a quick snap around. It's a one behind to the near side. I'll tell you what, I've really liked the start of Sophie Strong, Aaron. I think she's going to be a really important player for the STJFL in the middle. Her father, Scott, obviously played a lot of footy for Sandy Bay. This is Michaela Booth, who's just taken that mark here and will drive them inside 50. So the early running at the moment and scoreboard pressure with the Southerners. And a nice mark there from Sophie Mead. Perhaps maybe got a hand in the back, but the umpire certainly didn't see that one. We'll have a look here on the Duff TV replay. Was there a couple of hands in the back? Potentially, but they haven't been playing it all year in the AFL.
Well, Maggie Chen's a good defender. She should have probably been a bit stronger there in that contest.
Once again, there's Mead just fighting for it at ground level, shovels it out. Deep forward pocket here now for the STJFL. As Bannerman working in close quarters with Donato, that first goal scorer.
That's a goal.
Back to Mead. She's had another crack at it, and I think that one's got the majors, so 2-1-13, STJFL lead NTJFA. Yet to score.
No breeze either, is there, Tom, at the moment? This is just a little too easy. And at the moment, I'll just say they're just overwhelmed, the NTJFA defence, and they came in favourites into this game. They're probably one or two players missing, but some structural changes may be needed in that back half at the moment for them.
I think you're right there, and I think just in general play, it looks like they've probably just got that loose number. And they're hitting those targets as well at the moment, which is really important, especially with these conditions. You're right, there's not a lot of wind at the moment, but to be able to hit those targets, it's really important.
So back in the middle as when Allen gets it down Hall, those two will be considerably important if the NTJFA can start getting a score going. But at the moment, they haven't been able to get a successful entry. It's brought down towards, I heard someone call this the Institute side of the ground, all those people out there, maybe the dads and mums know North Hobart from many years ago, the Institute wing. We're on the commentary side, but last touch rule is Weldon, who's probably had the most touches for the NTJFA. She gets it up to centre half forward. She can't quite get that over the top. Dickinson was in there, spills out towards her. She can't win the football. McDonough onto there first. She'll then get the releasing handball close to the boundary line, and eventually it'll go over. I reckon that'll be a throw-in on that occasion. Probably not that clear on who took it out.
Almost looked like there might have been a boot to it.
I think we're in the best position where we time that probably just came off the shin. But anyway, neither could see who was taking that one out. Been good in the ruck, Yaron, so far, because Wynallen's quite an experienced player for the Tamer Demons. Has played that position for a considerable long period of time as Rory Ling into this side today. Shay Nichols is out, the Longford lass, who has had a really good season so far. And I think that has gone out of bounds.
And once again, it looks like most of the play at this stage is being played on that commentary side of the ground. And you mentioned before, Aaron, number 4 for NTJFA, Wilden's getting a lot of the ball early. And I wonder just there if Michaela Booth might be putting a little bit of time into her. Here's Wilden again and Booth going at it. Nice handball from Wilden, trying to set things up a little bit. But the numbers again, just with the STJFL, and the clearing kick is nice, but it's going to come straight back through Dunn. Drives it towards half forward there. Numbers again with STJFL, but at ground level, fantastic effort there by the NTJFA player. And they've got the number out the back, perhaps potentially a hold. Clearing kick out, but towards the centre of the ground. Once again there is Dunn. Quick handball and finding a bit of space where there might not have been any was Castles. Drives it towards half forward. Spilt ball at the back. Lost her footing there. And a chance now for Preshaw. Short ball inside 50 might come off here as a little bit of a burst of speed from O'Rourke.
She had an opportunity, O'Rourke, didn't she?
Here they come here towards the hot spot numbers.
Well, this is one that changed. So Fazakli's gone deep here to the NTJFA at the moment. So changes, and now they've got their star player in the middle in Jazz Freestone, who's straight into the attack.
Okay, so they've obviously identified that there's a couple of areas in the middle of the ground as Booth drives it long towards full forward, and that one's just going to trickle through for a point. So all the scoring done at the left of your screen at the moment.
Anyway, Fazakli out of defence now. She'll drive it up towards half forward, and neither team can get a tuck. Great contest there. There's Sophie Strong again. And we're going to have a ball. That was a beauty, wasn't it, Tom?
Well, dare I say it, strong in the contest, and it was a...
I feel like you had a pun coming, mate. I just sense you were a pun man. But anyway, Wynallen out of the ruck. She taps, in fact, she doesn't quite win. It might have been a high tackle on Wilkinson. Hole now. So the better players for the NTJFA is set up behind the ball, but unfortunately that kick's just a little too far, and look who it is again. Strong, wonderful vision to the middle. Barnes picks it up, gets some pressure applied to her. Wynallen was good. Wynallen was really good. Still swinging around and getting it was Barnes. Barnes kicks towards the old-fashioned hot, which is probably a wet spot at the moment. It is quite wet around about 20, 30 metres out. I reckon by the time the boys get on the ground, it's probably going to be turning into a little bit of mud. Still a chance for the STJFL. The kick is just a little indiscriminate. It's gone a fraction wide. It hasn't necessarily assisted.
And a fantastic tackle there from Madison Dunn. That was brilliant. Save to probably what might have been a goal there. As we have a look at this one on the replay, Isabel O'Rourke was running and weaving.
There's actually been quite a few strong tackles at the moment. And Dunn also got injured in the gala day a couple of weeks ago. She had a nasty shoulder bang, and they're a bit worried about her for a while, but she's going okay. Barnes again, so there's a couple of names we've called a bit, and it's pretty tight stuff here.
I think they found a free kick there, and I think it's going to go to the NTJFA, and they'll look to repel now. They might just want to take a minute or two off the clock, as most of the play, the first 12 minutes of footy, has been to the left of screen. It's a beautiful long kick to the centre of North Hobart Oval, and they're going to work in close quarters here, and a beautiful pick up there, and a nice driving ball on the left foot. Oh, good contest once again. Falls to the ground, and the transition here from full back to full forward is going to result in a goal. And it's to Keely Morrison. Fantastic work there from the NTJFA, and that transition will please the coaches, I would imagine, because it's been hard work for them early, and it's the goal they needed, because I think the early stages of this match and the first couple of goals to the STJFL, and that was really, really important to peg one back. And
it was a good snap out, wasn't it?
It's fantastic out of the congestion.
I don't think Keely Morris is necessarily known as a goal kicker either. I think it was Freestone in the middle who, off half forward, got that ball out of that pack and was able to drive forward. Needed that goal, didn't they, Tom? They just needed to get a bit of belief.
Yeah, so this might start them off now. And you said before, Aaron, that some of their better players are starting to get their hands on a footy, and here is one of those in Wilden who's just overrun that one slightly, and we might have to redo it in the middle here, I reckon.
Yeah, that's Ruby Hall. Her and Wilden look nearly identical, mate. And the only difference is that they've got a slightly different ponytail colour, and that is absolutely only it. Freestone on her knees, manages to get up, and she can't quite get the ball. There it is, it's dished out wide. It's a nice kick to Booth. Booth then clearing ball for Zackley in the front, spills through her hands. Lurky at the back is Wilkinson, steadies, and she dobbed one.
Tell you what, we might be able to have a look at this on the replay, but the handball out of the centre bounce there from Charlotte Barnes was outstanding and really, really set up that play. Here we go. I think we'll have a look at it here.
It was strong.
Just that release.
There's that first one.
There's a Booth.
That's brilliant. Brilliant football. It's a good kick too. Like, get it in deep by Booth. And then the steadying shot, Summer Wilkinson, she kind of sniffed the goals out.
And they're getting into that spot there where they're just going to create those chances, aren't they? That sort of 20, 25 metres out from goal, and we've seen that so far. And 3 goals, 2-20. Plays one straight 6 on the Brighton Best Bakehouse scoreboard.
You'd be a frequenter out there, surely, Tom, at the Brighton Best Bakehouse. That's a tongue twist, isn't it?
It is.
The Brighton Bakery, isn't it? I'll just call it the Brighton Bakery, I think. So they're in the middle of the ground, and it's currently 2 degrees. Feels like 2 degrees, so that's why the umpires maybe got some injuries. They were too cold once they got out there to warm up. So we have had an injury to an umpire. That's the only injury update. We don't actually have a name for that umpire, so hopefully she's okay. Sophie Strong now. She's had a fabulous first 15 minutes this game. It's a juggling mark taken by Wilkinson, who kicked the last goal. She's got a lead on in the pocket. Probably a fraction high, but it's going to be effective. It's just now spilt to the ground. Zackley misses that. Turns towards the middle of North Hobart, where there's danger. There are numbers here initially, but the clearing kick has actually put it into a really dangerous spot, swooping onto its Booth. She gets pushed off the football, maybe laid a high tackle. Then she has to go back on her knees to try and win that footy. Desperately defending is Brown. Coming out with the swinging handball. I think that's Whedon, or it could be Ruby Hall from back here. And the ball's going to be gone over the boundary line.
Yeah, it was just a dangerous kick across goal, wasn't it? They probably got away with one. I think that might have been Rory Ling, the late inclusion, and we've just got to be careful with those kicks across goal, because it's just sort of, that's where they've been so dangerous so far, the STJFL.
It's probably a little bit about there was no option though, so those players need to actually push down and fill in that hole. But yeah, you're right, it's a dangerous kick when you haven't got the legs to get it past.
Here we go, a couple of minutes left, I reckon, in this first quarter, and a goal here to the Southerners will be huge as the clearing kick goes out towards centre half back for the NTJFA, and I think it's picked up there from Davis. And we have had a siren now, so 16-minute quarters, and at quarter time, STJFL 3-2-20 lead the NTJFA 1 straight 6 in what has been an enthralling battle so far, Aaron.
Yeah, like really good quarter of football. The first 5 minutes was dominated by the STJFL. They were able to get the ball out of that middle area of the ground. Sophie Strong was extraordinary, and then they had those players up forward that were able to score. Wilkinson with a goal, as well as Mead also bobbed up and got a goal. The NTJFA kind of clawed their way back, but they looked a little lost, the NTJFA, down in defence. Some of the changes Darryl had made, he had to revert back to putting some of his better players. For Zackley, he doesn't play deep very often, maybe now and again plays in the high level deep, but she's a full forward for a school and her junior club. Wynne Allen was in the middle. Freestone was pretty quiet, seemed to lose. Ruby Hall kind of got in a little bit into the action late, but geez, it was strong. It was Barnes, it was Michaela Booth. There were so many good players, Tom, wasn't there, for the STJ?
They were the 3 names I was about to mention. I think they're really, really having a massive impact at the moment, and I reckon at quarter time, they're going to have to start thinking about putting a bit of time into some of those players. Obviously, you've mentioned some of the better players for the NTJFA, and they're starting to get into the contest a little bit now. That transition and that first goal was probably almost the play of the day, I thought. So there's some positives certainly from the for the NTJFA's point of view. But this second quarter proves to be huge, I think.
Interesting, the NTJFA coming into a huddle to try and keep warm. So they're in a nice little circles as Darryl Griffiths, whereas the STJFL just in front of us here have just spread themselves out into their respective positions, and they're having some conversation around how they stay on top. At the moment, it's 3-2, 20 to the NTJFA. They're only the one straight 6 to them. We're going to have a break here on Dove TV. We'll be back in the second quarter in just a few moments.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, After-Hours Dr Hobart is open every day till 10 p.m. Phone for an appointment or book online. And for added convenience, you'll also find your Hobart chemist also open until 10. When minor accidents and illness happen, we're here for you. After Hours Dr Hobart and your Hobart chemist, open till 10 p.m. every day.
Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, delicious in every way. Loving the taste, love it homemade, their own recipes, freshly baked. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste.
Welcome back. Second quarter action here at the traditional home of footy, where they're going to put a roof on this stadium. It's only going to cost a couple of million, I reckon. Stick a roof on. We'll get footy here, I reckon, Tom. Aaron Robertson, Tom Green in the commentary box. It's the second quarter of the annual representative game between the STJFL and the NTJFA. And so far, the STJFL 3-2, 20 to 1 straight. Win Allen in the ruck. She's been battling really hard all morning with Mead. It's been a fantastic battle. Let's see if they're going to make some changes here. But straight away, the STJFL have found some room in the middle. Nash is back there for the NTJFA. So they have made a few structural changes. Brown's still in there for the NTJFA. And I can tell you, look out for Isabella O'Rourke. I reckon she could snag a goal. Very clever around the ball. Win Allen to Freestone. Freestone's got a combatant in Denique next to her. Neither player was successful at getting the ball or transitioning it on. Trying to squeeze the ball through a very small space was Freestone. Unsuccessful. A lot of STJFL players around the ball. Maybe that's been a bit of a narrative, but it's been stolen. That might have been Harbell. Up to centre half forward. Contest now on the ground. Morrison, who was the only goal kicker for the NTJFA, just on the edge. That's a throw. And here's an opportunity early doors here for the NTJFA. So it's Daisy Blundstone from the Demons, the Tamer Demons, a noted goal kicker. She's about 5 metres too far out at the moment. She has one lead on. Then she kicks it to the pocket. Great grab. And the NTJFA off to a terrific start. And I think that's either Harbell. We've got a couple of player numbers here we've lost at the moment. We'll just pick up who this is. It might be Harbell in there, or might be not. That's a goal anyway to the NTJFA. They're away in this second quarter with an early goal.
What a fantastic tackle there at centre-half forward from Daisy Blundstone. Just really set that one up, and a couple of nice passages of play. They're starting to get a few more numbers around the contest, Aaron, which I think they were probably just lacking in the first quarter. So if they can start to do that, it's really going to work their way back into this game. But that's a fantastic start and a brilliant goal and a nice mark too to finish. So we're back in the middle. You did mention the roof. I wonder if they can get that roof on before the start of the boys' game, because it's freezing at the moment.
They'd need heaters, though, wouldn't they? You'd need heaters on the roof, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, I'll have a look at that. Sophie Strong straight out of the middle. That is textbook football. Kick probably wasn't ideal, although it's still going to work in the favour of STJFL as they work and they battle together. And I think that might be Keely Hayes there, just working in close quarters. A handball out the back there, ends up with Devine. Loose balls picked up from Nast, gets her handball out. Once again, Charlotte Barnes is everywhere. They're just... I think the umpire's going to have that one, and we're going to have a ball up right on the 50 here for the STJFL. So the first goal of the second quarter has come within 2 minutes to the Northerners. And Sophie Mead doing excellent work in the ruck. Charlotte Barnes with a kick that's just going to drift out of bounds. We have a throw in right forward pocket here for the STJFL as they look to register their first score of the second quarter.
So it was Shani Templar who kicked that last goal. I recognised her from 180 metres away, but couldn't quite pin it, so apologies. Templar with the last goal for the NTJFA.
So the second throw in again. If you've just joined us, we are an umpire down, and we're not exactly sure what happened very early stages of that first quarter, so our thoughts are with the umpire there. So once again, Barnes with a little handball out the back there, and Devine, who might have got one in the back, nothing doing. Ball at ground level. Devine again working overtime at the moment. And it's really hard to get a clean possession out of the contest here. And Barnes, she'll look up. Oh, and she just emerges from the pack. Tackled, potentially holding the ball. Might have got one high there, and I reckon that's going to be a free kick to the NTJFL, and they're going to look to repel now from the back line. And this has been one of their strengths today, I reckon, is getting it out of that defensive 50. They've worked it towards the middle of the ground now. It's going to come back in, though. Emma Castles might have got one high, I reckon.
So Castles, who has had a really good season this year, developing play, a little bit more height, a bit stronger as well, as neither team could win that footy. Blundstone's came a long way up the ground to try and get involved in the action. Pushing it down is Booth, and now it's spread out the back. Those are runners for the NTJFA trying to get involved. That's been knocked out by Blundstones, trying to get into some area. Now it's the captain, Harbell. She's been involved the last few minutes. She gets pushed off the ball, probably a fraction too easily. Now it's been knocked in towards the pocket. The NTJFA streaming at the moment. Eventually the ball goes over the boundary line, and we will have a throw up here. So different quarter this one, isn't it, Tom, to the last one?
Certainly a much more even battle at the moment. Right forward pocket for the NTJFA. So they've worked it up to deep inside their 50. Can they capitalise and put some scoreboard pressure now on their opponents? Nothing doing there. We're going to have another ball up.
Can't quite see the mountain, but snow down about 300 overnight.
We're feeling every bit of that here in the commentary box at the moment, as a nice handball out the back there goes to Hall again. Pushed off the ball. Michaela Booth working hard, tirelessly at the moment. Maybe got, I think she was just held a fraction. I think that's going to go to the STJFL.
No, it's coming back. I'd say it's still an STJFL ball.
I think Booth's going to get that one.
A little bit of a breeze picking up here. It's actually coming straight into our faces, which is... Now, the major Duffette crew is in Lonnie today. They've got the running carnival. I saw a little bit this morning. So they're running over the gorge on the TV. Good stream there. But I think this is the A-team here. MJ on camera. And the little Jack Russell is doing the V-mix, pots and pans work today. No Jerry Martindale. He's got the big gig, but I reckon this is the place to be, isn't it, Jack? He's nodding.
Jay Duff on fire at the moment, as is Emma Castles, and she drives another one deep inside 50 with interest off hands, and it's just sort of going to trickle towards the boundary line. Wonder if the NTJFA can get their hands on the ball here. It's the STJFL at the moment, though, working hard. There is Matilda Harvey, still with the ball, but now it comes out the back and a nice handball there to Lydia Holes, and I think they might have a free kick. It's going to be going way of the NTJFA. And the goal kicker is going to drive it along to the hot spot. That's the spot where you want to be kicking the ball. Numbers with the STJFL still spills out the back, and I think the sheer weight of Numbers might win out in the end. And that's a nice ball. That's gone the best part of 40 metres and really cleared the danger zone as Sophie Strong working hard there as Bannerman lends some support and they can get the ball up to centre wing, and that kick is lateral into the middle of the ground. Pushed off the ball there, I think, might have been Sophie Mead out of the contest now, but still with Lola Johnson working it towards half forward now as they come to meet it. Potentially a push in the back. Might have got one there, I reckon.
Yeah, so a freaky. I think Harriet Bingley is playing off half back at the moment. And they've got Nast as well. So that looks more like a natural defensive group that the NTJFA are used to having. Bluntstone just missed it off the fingertips. It's nearly won it here by her again. Hall tries to lay some pressure with a big bump. Now it's been clear back. Freestone in the best position. She couldn't quite win the foot. In fact, that was Wynne Allen. Now it's been clear back again. The ball's been won out the back. It's been Harbell's ball. She's tackled at the footy, and there's Templar on the ground as well for the NTJFA. But the STJFL are doing a good job of repelling at the moment. It's not a bad job. Gets it up towards the centre of the wing where we've got lots of spectators over there in the George Miller stand, just shading themselves from the sun. Strong gets it out. Long sleeves are needed at the moment as both these teams are just settling a little bit as Dickinson dropped the footy and the umpire's going to come in and is going to throw it up. So just attacking side here of the circle.
Very even contest at the moment, Aaron.
Yeah, little Mead was good then, and she's had a really good ruck battle at the moment against the NTJFA, but they've won a free kick off half back. That's a good kick in towards the forward line. Templar in front, takes a tremendous mark. She looks up forward. She's got a couple of players in the pocket. One to go for is Morrison. Morrison over the back of the pack. Couldn't quite get to her. There was a handball on there to Templar. Gets it out to Morrison again. Hits the post. Opportunity gone begging.
In the shadows there of North Hobart Oval, that left forward pocket. That was a fantastic mark from Templar. Courage personified. And I just get the feeling the next goal here is really, really important because they've obviously had a bit of a rev up as Freestone heads towards goal, but that one's off the side of the boot, and that'll be out of bounds on the full. But I just think the NTJFA have, maybe it's just taken them a quarter to get going, but you just sense that probably the momentum's with them at the moment. Potentially this could be the scoring end of the ground left the screen.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It's a southwesterly blowing at the moment, so that's probably going to slightly favour them. But no, I think at the moment it's they've just made some structural changes at the moment, I reckon, Tom, and they're starting to work their way in the game.
Absolutely, and she wants the long option here, and she's going to go towards the safety of the boundary line, off hands, a beautiful handball there by Bowerman. Nice tackle as well. The tackling pressure from both sides has been paramount today. Working in close quarters again, it comes out to Barnes, who's been everywhere, but that handball chopped off by Castles, and a driving ball inside 50, and a nice mark taken by Ruby Hall, who plays on, wastes no time, heads towards goal. Still in play though, and a chance here.
Bluntstone's taken high. Definitely taken high, Bluntstone. And the umpire from 55 metres away had great angle on this. Fantastic combination of umpiring then.
And like we've said, they are one down, so it's a brilliant effort there. And I think that might be Lett who's taking the ball. She's going to snap around the corner, but it's near side. They're doing a lot of work in their forward end at the moment, though. The NTJFA, and scoreboard pressure's a big thing in footy, as we know. And 2-2-14, they trail the STJFL 3-2-20 as they bring it out now to the outer side. It's out of bounds. We have a throw in. Did mention there before, Aaron, that starting to see a few people come through the gates. The George Miller stand there on the Rye Street end. Certainly filling up fast now.
That's because the only spot in the sun. That's why. And the southwesterly, it's about the only spot protected from the southwesterly as well. So we've got a little bit of a pack forming just on the forward 50 here for the NTJFA. And he's running around the back of that pack, unsuccessful disposal. Comes in late with Allen. Lays a pretty late tackle, and it's gone over the boundary line again. Great size footy. It's a great size football ground, isn't it, for junior football time? It's just ideal size.
Outstanding, isn't it?
So we've got to throw in Freestone. A little rush with her disposal at the moment. Necessarily advantaged her team. Hall might get there first, and she runs. Well, she nearly ran out of space. In fact, she did. And the boundary line will come into play, and we'll have another throw in here. So, yeah, it may be a goal breeze, I think, at the moment. It's 3-2-20 to 2-2-14.
Yeah, it's got the hallmarks of a classic, I think, this one.
Well, they've been getting a little closer after the North have been dominating for a couple of years, but they've been getting a fraction closer as the two groups of females have come through the ranks and have sort of become more competent at footy. The STJFL have got a few different rules in their competition, which I think's allowed them to probably catch up. Nast in late in that contest, and she falls over. Either team really getting a clean disposal for around about 45 seconds of footy. It's kind of been knocked out here as Nast once again tackled as she was trying to release the football. Brown in there first. The STJFL with some two players here, so it's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Should have probably been picked up by Donato. Kicked a goal in that first quarter. She's now got quite a few players to beat as she looks around as Hayes very close to the boundary line. She's unable to win the football, and she's been pushed in the back. And I reckon we're going to have a free kick, or in fact it might be holding the football.
I think it was in the back, so it's going to be a free kick to the NTJFL. In unfamiliar territory at the moment for this quarter. We haven't seen the ball on the right of screen much in this second term. A great tackle, pinned the arms beautifully there from Ella Nast. That was excellent. We'll have another ball up. This might be STJFL's chance to do a bit of work on the scoreboard. However, the left foot scrubby ball is going to get out to half back. Picked up there by Castles again, who's been fantastic this quarter. She got it.
That was really interesting. She just ducked late, didn't she? And Strong came in. That was unlucky, but probably the right call.
Potentially could have gone either way, as once again that kick is long towards the true centre-half forward position. And again, Templar there, I think, is working hard. She's been really good this quarter, trying to bring the NTJFA back into the game, as that one's going to head towards the boundary line.
Maybe we should say North and South, Tom. We're getting some tongue twisters, aren't we, with these acronyms?
That one might have been paid deliberate, I think it was, and heading...
Well, no, last touch I think it was, so it must have been a...
Okay.
Tell you what, who's had a lot of this footy in this quarter is Sophie Strong again. The stat test on that is Freestone will get there first, but I reckon Sophie Strong has been 13 or 14 touches easily, and they've all been pretty effective. That was initially an effective handball from Freestone onto Nas, but then Nas's kick's been chopped off. It's gone a little wide. It's trying to get some run. It's been picked up here by Downey first, and then she throws herself for the football. That looks like a high tackle. So the NTJFA winning the football and probably winning the momentum game here as well, but not winning on the scoreboard. They're a goal down. There's a pack of players forming around the full this ball. Bluntstone to it first. Spills out of her hands, all over the back. She gets it in. She gets it across. That's a clever kick. Just to the right-hand side. And for a moment, Templar was going to have her second opportunity to score a goal, but it went to the right. She also had a player just free inside the 450 as Morrison was calling out for the football, but she couldn't quite get it. Now I've got a long driving ball out. Yaron is going to have to go up against Wyn Allen. Yaron couldn't grab it. Now it's pinched out of the pack here by Lett. Then Lett moves the ball on. Stunning shot for the left pocket. What a goal by the captain. Harbell with a stunner. And she's driven them back into the game.
A fantastic shot on goal there. The left boot has sailed straight over the top of the goal umpire's hat. And I tell you what, with that goal, they've taken the lead now. So it's 3-3-21. The NTJFA, or the Northerners, lead the Southerners 3-2-20 here on the Brighton Best Bakehouse scoreboard. And I tell you what, Ruby Hall...
What an important score there, right on the half-time siren. Harbell, the captain for the NTJFA, scores a sensational goal on the left-hand pocket, right in front of the Doug place to stand. The stand with no lift, as we call it here in footy land. It's half-time. It's 3-2-20 to 3-3-21. The NTJFA, they only led for, 5 seconds of the game, Tom, and we'll have a recap of that first half from you, mate.
Mate, it was a fantastic first half. Maybe a half of two halves, really. So
Half of two halves. I like it.
The STJFL burst out of the blocks in the first quarter, and they opened up a couple of goal lead. They had to work pretty hard in that first term, the NTJFA, just to sort of stay in the contest, and things started to change in the second quarter. I think they got some of their better players into the game. We heard the name Freestone quite a lot. Ruby Hall up forward is looking really, really dangerous. And then their captain with a fantastic finish right on that half-time siren to put them in front. So it's all set for a blockbuster second half. I think you'd agree with me, Aaron, as the teams head towards the change rooms for that half-time break, that we might be in for a classic second half.
Yeah, look, it's a really entertaining game of football, and the weather conditions not playing a role. There's very small southwesterly blowing, which is just favouring the I suppose the domain end of the ground, the Doug Placer end of the ground, and probably just having a little bit of impact on the scoreboard with, at the moment, all but one goal's been kicked to the left-hand side of the screen. To be honest, the strong girls in the middle have been wonderful for the STJFL. They've been able to really get on well. Barnes, Donato also engaged. Michaela Biff a little quieter in that quarter. Didn't necessarily have as bigger impact. Downey with a little bit of the ball, but it was just the fact that they weren't able to win the ball out of the middle for the STJFL, which allowed the NTJFA prime movers to start influencing the game. And then their star players up forward, their experienced players in Shani Templar and Jorah Harbell, who really started to win the footy. Ella Nass down back was really good for a few minutes to get that ball out, and Jazz Freestone going maybe into the middle for a period of time also won the ball. We're going to have a break here on Duff TV. It's half time of this annual representative game. It's the NTJFA by 1 point. We'll be back soon.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, After-Hours Dr Hobart is open every day till 10 p.m. Phone for an appointment or book online. And for added convenience, you'll also find your Hobart Chemist also open until 10. When minor accidents and illness happen, we're here for you. After Hours Dr Hobart and your Hobart Chemist, open till 10 p.m. every day.
Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, delicious in every way. Loving the taste, love it homemade. Their own recipes, freshly baked. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste.
And welcome back here to Duff TV. Aaron Roberts, Tom Green here in the commentary position high up at North Hobart Oval. It's been a wonderful start to this representative game. It's only a point the difference, and we're expecting an absolute rip snorter of a finish. There's the ball out early towards, sorry, it took me a couple of seconds to get Davis there. Now it comes in, saw the forward 50 line for the STJFL. The scoring end's been the left. Only one goal's been scored to the right-hand side of the screen. So it'll be interesting to see the NTJFA make any adaptations to their defensive unit. Nast gets a sweeping handball out. That's not a bad option. Now it's been kicked up towards centre half, or centre half back. The shovel handball again. The numbers around this one. It's been picked up by Bannerman. Bannerman up towards goal. It's been touched on the line. Fazakali clearing one, gets around one, and then just barrels the ball out. Reasonably effective out towards the pocket. But unfortunately, it's found the white line. And the breeze is just maybe just picked up a little bit. It's blowing straight from Mawson's hut in Antarctica somewhere over the Southern Ocean and straight to North Hobart Oval. It's currently 2 degrees, feels like 2. Maybe up towards 6 or 7 with the sun out. Nast streaming out of that defensive area. Kicks up towards centre back. Punch over the top by Strong from the STJFL. Strong gets it again. Gets towards 45. It's a good kick over the back, but it's going to roll away and out of bounds.
Well, the throw in there, right forward pocket for the South. And it was the tail of the first half, I think. Most of the scoring done, most of the play. The left side of your screen. There's the ball. He's back into play now, working hard. There is Bowerman. The ball is, no one really wants to go and collect it at the moment. Bowerman still working in close quarters. Comes out and maybe held on to just a little bit long was Devine. Still trying to get a clear possession, and they do now, the South, and the kick towards the hot spot. It falls across side of the pack as Fazakali takes on the tackle. What a tackle! Still manages to escape though. That was a brilliant effort by both players. The ball trickles towards the boundary line. Numbers 3v2 with the South, and it might just get over the boundary line. We'll have our third throw in.
Let's have a look at a replay on that tackle there, Jack. That was a great little contest. The Faz getting herself out. There we go. There was a...
I think it might have been Hayes, I think, for the South, but that's twice now in 2.5 minutes of footy in this third quarter that Fazakali has been able to shrug a would-be tackler.
Shrug or bust. So the ball just in dispute here, and that was probably nearly a throw then by Davies, but not called by the umpire. And the umpire now does call a throw up here. Just on the knees is Brown, and we've got a throw up just right on Freestone with the tap out. Doesn't go to anyone. Let had a chance to pick it up. Slung around in the tackle. Now it's been cleared by the NTJFA. Trying to pick down was Johnston. She couldn't quite grab the footy. It's been knocked out. Castle was there. Johnson again lays a tackle. The umpire says play on. Didn't have a chance to dispose of it. Harbell, who kicked that stunning goal with only a few minutes left in that first half. Strong. Ball over the back of the pack. Numbers here. The NTJFA. Handball over the top. That's a... If it was held, it would have been a very clever handball. The umpires found a free kick.
I think it's going to Sophie Strong there. She's been really, really busy once again early in this third quarter. Her handballing has been a highlight, I think, in close traffic. She's going to drive it long inside 50. Numbers with the North. Can they get a clearing kick out of the congestion? Or will the South mount the first score of this third quarter? Players, perhaps potentially dived on that one.
I actually reckon she may have dived on it, but no one laid a tackle on it.
No one tackled it. No. Ball up, 25 metres out now from South's goal. Oh, just bursting through the pack and clearing the congestion. That was fantastic footy, and all of a sudden we're on centre wing. But Sophie Mead, who went a bit quieter in that second quarter after a fantastic opening term, drives them back towards half forward. Tapped on beautifully by Strong. Working hard there was Eva Downey. Still got the footy. Just stolen from her from Castles. Bursting through. Got a bit of a stalemate here at half forward. Handball out. Once again, a feature from Strong, those handballs. Harvey drives it inside 50 and deep, and at the back of the pack, it's fallen into the hands of Hayes, and she'll line up. Just take her time, I think, and hopefully for the South can put them back in front.
Yeah, it was a tremendous finish in the end. I think it's got through too, Tom.
She's got the journey, and we might have a look at the replay there, I reckon, of that ball coming inside the 50, and the handball from Sophie Strong was outstanding. And then that long kick just to that dangerous spot, isn't it, where both teams have sort of been going all day. There it is.
Well, I don't know how she's got a handball out there strong, but it was a phenomenal bit of effort, and Harvey's kicking was great.
It was for Janik as well there as well, with a nice handball to set up Harvey and put her into some space. So 4-2-26, STJFL lead the NTJFA 3-3-21 on the Brighton Best Bakehouse scoreboard. Fantastic tap in the middle. Strong goes to work again. Just overran it slightly, and Harbell with a nice handball out the back door, and they will head towards half forward now. It's a nice contest on here between a few players. The handballs come out. Soccer off the ground is handy in these conditions as Hall will head towards that ball. And I think the STJFL, maybe with a sheer weight of numbers there, a nice tackle on Johnson.
It's at a 360 nearly. Oh, good call by the umpire. Just play on.
Held to her there.
Very laid back umpire, this person. It's not very laid back.
Did make mention of that before the start of the game, didn't we? The long sleeves, but doing a fantastic job and bursting through the contest. Brilliant work by Mead. Handball. They've still got numbers if they can use them and find that outlet in the middle of the ground. As Barnes, who we haven't called her name yet in this quarter, nice handball at the back. Still working overtime, both players, as potentially the tired legs start to become a factor into this third quarter. And that's let there, but intercepted by Janik. Starting to get a bit of the ball here, and there's Barnes. Handball towards half forward. Oh, maybe got one high there, I reckon. It was Dickinson, and she'll take the kick. Maybe just take a couple of minutes off the clock. Try and get their hands on the ball here, the North.
A couple of players down if the NTJFA too was Whedon going in strong. Weldon, I should say, going in really hard. She copped it to the knee. Both players seem to be getting up. And a little sore is let at the moment, but it's a ball here by Barnes. He kicks it inside, forward 50. Numbers at the ball for the NTJFA. They'll hold now. It might come back in again by Downey. Downey's quick in, cut off by Ellen Nast. Ellen Nast probably ended up marking that football. The umpire agreed. Ellen Nast has got a lead on out here. Morrison had a long lead. Now she has to wait underneath the football. She waited a little bit too long, and it's going to be a free here to the STJFL, just forward of centre wing.
She's having a good game, Ellen Nast, down back, I think.
She's been a good move, yeah, from Darryl Griffiths. So Barnes's kick just floated late, and now the long kick up. Nearly taken over the top, and nearly won the ball was Gillows. Looks like she's gone to centre half forward. Ruby Hall sneaking in there. Maggie Chen couldn't win the football. Chen again trying again. She's got some grappling work done by Harvey. Barnes in there. Weldon on her. Lots of players are really pushing their bodies into this contest at the moment. Sneaking off the boundary line and off the fence was Michaela Booth. Did she have the football? The umpire says she did, and she threw it. So a good tackle, one there by Jazz Freestone. Freestone with a couple in the middle. She's going to have to be good here because cutting it off. Castle's in best position, but McDonough came over the top and managed to knock the ball away. But STJFL with numbers around in the middle of the ground. The ball's being knocked over the top to Taj Richardson. She couldn't win it. Nearly legged. The umpire said no. Castle's now laid some pressure. Burst out of the pack. She chips it over the top. Maggie Chen in best position. Just spilt the mark when she needed to hold. And I reckon we're going to have a ball up here. No, in fact, the umpire said a little bit too high. There's two players inside. Hall's calling for the football. It's high ball inside the forward 50 here for the NTJFA. They've had all the play, the STJFL, probably in their forward 50. Barnes going back and does what she's done so off the day is win the footy. Chen can't get it. Neither team really getting the ball. Hall will probably get to that ball first. She shovels the ball out and knocks Booth to the ground. Then the quick clearing kick out there by Templar. Templar's kick being marked here deep in defence, and it's taken by O'Rourke.
And O'Rourke will look to repel now to half back, but potentially in the hole there was Hall. Cop one, and Mead's just going to kick that one towards centre wing. And I just get the feeling this game's gone up a notch now.
100%. And Hall wasn't happy. Hall's a tough nut, and the most enthusiastic football I've seen from Scottsdale. But she got one right in a sternum then.
And NTJFA now with the clearing ball. You can see how much of the ball has been played on this side of the ground, because it's getting really, really muddy on centre wing. Commentary side is now the South can look to send it towards full forward again, looking very dangerous there. But for Zachary with a nice clearing ball towards half-back. Here goes Bowerman again, wrapped up in a tackle. And the next 6 minutes of this game can be really, really crucial, I think. If the STJFL, we know the scoreboard end, or the scoring end, is to the left of screen. If they can get another one here, they'd be feeling really, really comfortable with a nice little lead heading into three-quarter time. But it's Harvell again working overtime. There's Barnes again with that handball out the back to Bowerman. Cut off. And a scrubby sort of kick. Big contest this one, I reckon, here on half-back. It's won by the North. Working hard still. Again, it's pretty scrappy at the moment. Scrappy footy. It's hard to get a clear possession. And we're going to have a ball up in the middle of the ground. That's Richardson there for the North in close quarters.
Rebecca Edwards down back's really changed at food for the NTJFA. Good move to try and get her. I don't know, Barnes has literally played this whole game of the ball, isn't she, Tom?
She's everywhere, and her handballing, like strong, has been a feature. And there's Nast again, clearing that ball. Might come straight back though, although fantastic effort there by Nast it was, but I think it might have been kicking in danger. So it's, Nast just, she actually kicked that ball from the back line and then followed up. That's fantastic second, third efforts. As now we're on the far side of the ground. We haven't spent much time on this side of the ground. Mark's been taken. It's going to be heading back into the middle of the ground. Virginik there working hard. Can he get the handball out? That might have been a throw or holding. I think it's going to be a holding free kick to the North.
No, I think the STJFL
they've got it. Claimed it, but I don't know if it's going. I think it's going to be overturned.
The umpires are all moving that way, or the players. She's the only one who thought she had the free kick.
Dangerous ball.
Yeah, it is. It's just a real stalemate at the moment as Keely Morrison, who scored a goal. That's Castle, who's had a fair bit of the footy in this last few minutes, trying to weave her way through as Harvey's been good in this quarter, Harvey. Bannerman up there, can't get it. Edwards in there. She also can't win the football. Now it's down on the ground. Ground levels where we've seen a lot of good work from the NTJFA in defence. Now this ball needs to go long. It needs to go high and wide. It's not too bad up towards centre wing. You're right, Tom. There's been a lot of footy just on the old Institute side of the ground. Morrison was pretty good. She applied boost and pressure, but Booth was effective at getting a kick away. And again, O'Rourke loses a balance. Looking for a friend, O'Rourke then sneaks it back again. Just need to be a little better than Rory Ling, because she needed some help from one of her teammates. She's playing deep in defence. Scragg, while she had the ball, was Tess McDonough. She loses the footer out to the quick kick inside the forward 50 for Zachary in best position. Slipped through her fingers. Stalemate as Wilkinson comes in, and for Zachary eventually they held the whistle, and for Zachary won it out. She clears it up towards half forward. Thrown off the football. Chance late here for the STJFL, but for Zachary claims the mark deep in defence here. Now, is she going to go towards this side of the ground? It's going to be dangerous, because here comes Booth. Spilt mark by Ling, and now she's just dragged and held in. She sneaks off the handball to Freestone. Freestone kicks the ball high. Trying to win it was Keely Morrison. She didn't get it, and chopping off and grabbing the defensive mark was Pre-Shaw. And now she kicks it up high to around 20 metres out. Ella Nass to the football first. Ella Nass took her time. Edwards with a rush kick out. It might bounce out the pack here. It does, but first to it is Barnes. Barnes' kick was really good. Nast in there. Edwards again. She can't grab it. Now winning around is Witt. Delta Witt's thrown down, and she may have won a free kick here.
I think that might be Summer Wilkinson.
In fact, it's not. It's a free kick the other way.
I think she might have got one in the back there, Wilkinson. We saw her kick a goal earlier. She's probably only 20 metres out from goal. Only off a couple of steps, but I think it's going to be good enough. And that's the goal they probably needed, and the one I think they deserved, just in the shadows of three-quarter time.
Tell you what, she was casual about the kick, wasn't she?
Only a couple of steps. That's all she needed, though. Certainly a free kick there. So she drew that one. Repeat entries for the STJFL, and they probably deserve that goal, I think. And
probably a fair scoreboard at the moment at 32-21. We've got a minute 10 seconds left.
It's been mentioned throughout the coverage that certainly is the scoring end to the left of screen. So North will be kicking that way in the final quarter. So I'll tell you what, Aaron, it shapes has been a fantastic finish to this game. We've got 1 minute left in this quarter, known as the Premiership quarter. And rucks go at it again in the middle of the ground, as Dennis Cometti would say. And the handball out the back there, Preshaw. Barnes again. In tight, maybe another ball up. And I reckon the South would take this lead now with just over 30 seconds left.
Yeah, they've only gone forward about 5 times NTJFA, and only one opportunity to score. So it's probably a deserved scoreline at the moment. The metrics seem about right. Ella Nast in the best position. She couldn't quite win the football. Edwards just misses her an opportunity late now. It's a flying shot on goal. 2 in 30 seconds. Then there's Bauman with the late goal. And a great finish here from the STJFL.
Well, that's huge. I thought with only sort of 45 to 50 seconds left on the clock after that last goal from Wilkinson that potentially that might have been it for the quarter, but they've just gone bang, bang. And like we saw just before half-time with a goal late to Harbour, we've seen a late goal to the STJFL, and they'll open up a 17-point advantage at three-quarter time. It's all set, though, with the North kicking to the left of screen in the final quarter. It's 6-38 to 3-3-21.
So Wilkinson with a couple at the moment. Hayes, Mead, Bauman also bobbing up and kicking some goals for the STJFL. And we saw Templer, Harbell and Morrison with goals for the NTJFA. But a really rapid quarter of football as the game started to open up, as it often seems to do in representative football, as the teams start to find their way, find their feet. Often sometimes they're out of position too from their community football positions. We've got some blankets down there on the bench for the NTJFA and the STJFL, keeping themselves warm. Maybe we might even see the old dressing gown come out. That'd be absolutely sensational. But a bit of work and some bit of movement and work for the NTJFA Brains Trust to get them back into the game. Just mention a couple of the better players so far. Well, the couple of goals from Summer Wilkins has been outstanding, but Charlotte Barnes is the best player on the ground, definitely at the moment. She's been outstanding. Sophie Mead's also been really good. Sophie Strong, Isabella Rourke, Bauman's had touched up a couple of balls. That's probably been the most important players for the STJFL and NTJFA. Well, Morrison's been there good, but that quarter probably belonged to Rebecca Edwards down back. We also saw a lot of work from Ella Nast and Rory Ling. We need to see a little bit of lift from their big guns. So Jorah Harbell, Gillow, Bingley, Templar all probably need to start getting a little bit more of the ball. Emma Castle's good in that quarter, and Madison Dunn, I think, has gone off injured. She's hurt her shoulder again, as she did. But the player that probably needs to find a little bit more of the football, and I think she's not been positioned in her best area. She needs to get her back the ball. 15 minutes of Jazz Freestone in this last quarter of winning that ball out of the middle and playing probably the first 5 minutes of that last quarter in a ruck may change this game for the NTJFA. But we'll have a break here with Aaron Roberts and Tom Green on Duff TV. It's representative football. You're at a very cool North Hobart Oval, but it is fine at the moment, and it'll be back for the last quarter very soon.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, After-Hours Dr Hobart is open every day till 10 p.m. Phone for an appointment or book online. And for added convenience, you'll also find your Hobart Chemist also open until 10. When minor accidents and illness happen, we're here for you. After Hours Dr Hobart and your Hobart Chemist, open till 10 p.m. every day.
best bakehouse. Love that homemade taste. Brighton's best bakehouse.
It's out of bounds. We have a throw in.
Just need a bit to the left in it. That kick is too easy to neutralise for the NTJFA.
Perhaps stoppages aren't such a bad thing, though, for the South, and it is in the part of the ground that will suit them at the moment. So, ball back in. Here's Barnes going to work again. All day she's been in the midfield, tirelessly working to mark and play on it. Sort of what they've got to do now, but that's holding the ball.
That's interesting. It was called a mark, wasn't it? I feel like I heard the whistle, but she seemed to play on.
Perhaps didn't hear the whistle there as that ball heads towards the goal square. Over the back of Zackley, out of bounds.
It's great to see the anti-density rule as we look at broader shot of the ground. The STJFL have had it in for many years, but NTJFA have only just brought it the start of the rule this year, and the girls adhering to it really well. Chance out the back, just slipping as she's trying to get the football. McDonoghue lays a tackle. No help coming, steaming through was Bannerman. Bannerman just ran through into a brick wall of NTJFA players, and we'll have a throw up here. So it's been congested, but it's been the right-hand side towards the Horry-Goring stand here at North Hobart Oval, which is the direction of where the STJFL want the football. Edwards can't win it. Nast initially looked for a handball, and then she decided she'd lay it onto a boot. Gillow. And now some run off half-back for the NTJFA. Hall will get there first. It misses her. Defence needed here from the STJFL. They've structured really well. Just knocked off was Leonard a little bit too easy. A stack of NTJFA players around this football. Hall slips over when she probably once again needed to just stay on her feet. As a tackle is come in, and we'll have Harbell just holding that one up. So we've gone nearly halfway through this quarter, and the NTJFA, it's still at 3 goals on the scoreboard, and hasn't changed for them. It's nearly a throw out of that pack. Throw to the ground was Denique, and Denique's won a free kick. I reckon the umpire just thought she was held without the football. So Denique will come out towards the tiered side of the ground. In front position was Davies, who takes the mark. Davies turns, and she's got to play further afield. It's to be punch here from the NTJFA. Fantastic mark. And streaming out of there is Mead, who's had a pretty good game, Mead. Nast, who's also played really well. Nast has Castle, if she can get. She's got 4 STJFL players to beat. And unfortunately, she was never going to go through there. And Ella, her father is the president of the East London Footy Club, just showing that she wasn't overly happy with that attention. I think Ella probably wanted some help from the STJFL players. So in the ruck contest, Yarran in there first. She beat Winnell on that occasion. It just booted off the ground by Yarran. It's not a bad option. It gets up, spinning around one way. That was nearly holding the ball. I think they've called it as Barnes was streaming into the forward line. In fact, it's going to come back here for a free kick, in fact, to Preshaw. So Preshaw's asking, the wind just picked up here, Tom, hasn't it? As it's just starting to blow a little bit. So Preshaw's got the ball about 55 out. It's
blowing in our face a little bit, Aaron, at the moment, but it is Preshaw to drive them inside 50 now. One goal, you'd think it probably iced this game, being the operative word ice at the moment, but a fantastic mark back with the flight. And you think they've just got to go now, don't you? They're in the middle of the ground. Handball, though, is cut off by Davis. Nice handball. Bit of fumble. Numbers probably with the South, as they've just got to work this out together, and it's Strong, picks it up. Handball potentially put Leonard under a bit of pressure. O'Rourke there again, though. She's been rock solid down there in this final quarter.
Got to keep it in.
And they do a good job there. Does Harvey, who's been fantastic as well. Handball over towards Barnes. I don't think she's disposed of that correctly. And Emma Castles, who's probably been one of the better players, I think, for the North, with a fantastic tackle. So we have a look at the replay there. She drives them towards half forward, certainly holding the ball, no doubt about that. Handball there goes to Gillow. They've got numbers here. Now they need to score from this passage. A nice kick over the top there from Bluntstone. She's still got time. She can pick it up. She can do whatever she'd like with it. And she's going to run into the open goal, Shay Nichols. And, well, with 5 minutes to go, it's less than a 2-goal game.
Wow, that was needed, wasn't it? And they had the numbers, but it was, once again, it was their 2 better players that were able to get the football. It was Gillow, Harbell, Templar was involved, and a nice little bit of push and shove just to ensure that Nichols was going to have that shot on goal. But just makes it a bit interesting, Tom, doesn't it?
Certainly does. So maybe we've got one final twist in this tale. We did see the STJFL score 2 really, really quick goals towards the end of that third term. So it is possible and it can happen quickly. So, well, we're all set now.
Yeah, I'd suggest a few changes. I kind of said maybe Freestone's a bit injured, but I'd get her in the middle for this last 5 minutes. Wynne Allen's been really good in the ruck, but her groundwork isn't anywhere near as good as or capable of as Freestone. But gee, they've really won that ball out of the middle of the ground so often today, the STJFL. The NTJFA just holding back Nast, can't get it. And we'll have a hold up here around about 30 out. So 4 and a bit to go.
I love the link up with handball, the South
they've
girls.
certainly dominated that middle period, particularly the congested area, getting the ball out, and they've used the handball option is their preference, whereas the NTJFA probably played a little bit more traditional and just booted it out. They've used the conditions, and the conditions have been okay, actually. They've been actually formed quite well. That's a high kick up towards Harbell. She couldn't quite mark the football. Yaron came over the top and applied some pressure. Harbell again. Here's that use of handball. They're always looking to try and get a player in a better position. Davis with the handball out. Wasn't that effective. Kick off the ground there by Barnes. Castle's been great to Chen. Chen's ball's been chopped off and knocked out of the ball by the air by Davis. Davis goes back. She has some support. Tackle coming in late was by Georgia Gillow. Castles lays another tackle there on Yaron. Yaron can't quite pick it up, and then she just creates a little bit of space for Denique to get it up towards centre half forward. Wynne Allen misses the footy, then just barrelling away through. That's the sort of footy they need from Emma Castles, and that's what she's capable of. And she's won a free kick here, not for her, but for the NTJFA. So Edwards hands it back. So can the NTJFA find something? I need to get a little bit of a roll on here. Gillow is going to come down towards that football. She gets around one. Gillow on her right. I think it's snuck to the left. And it has snuck a little bit too far. And a behind. And it gets a little closer.
That might have been their chance there, wasn't it? But she just pinched it from nowhere. And the kick towards goal has just gone to the left of screen. They're going to try and get a little bit of territory here, I reckon, the South. They're going to need to get a hand on this ball. It heads towards the boundary line. A fantastic tackle. The tackling by both sides has been fantastic all day, actually. As Leonard looks to repel now. A little handball over, but the numbers were with North, but I think they might have given away a free kick.
That's disappointing. A couple of that pocket, haven't they? They've just been undisciplined.
Such an important stage of the match now. Probably need a mark here. Strong's there. She dives at it. Davis, who's been fantastic in this final quarter, working hard, isn't she? She just won't give it up. Castles as well in there, fighting hard. Both players, all players out there, I reckon, out on their feet now.
Yeah, Davison, she's been great in this quarter, and also, yeah, equally Castles has been brilliant. Ball hasn't gone too far here, and it's been chipped away. Booth's been good in the first and the last quarter. She's got a little bit of the ball. Ella Nast will get to it first, just in the middle of North Hobart Oval. Jaslyn Freestone tries to win it, knocks it out. Now just pinching that ball out of nowhere was Weldon. Weldon knocks it out back to herself. Weldon now turns it around the corner. It's a very high ball looking for Brown. Brown in there. She taps it to herself. Maggie Chen looks like she's gone forward. That looked like a high tackle on Johnstone. The umpire missed it, and we'll have a throw up here.
Nothing doing. We haven't heard Weldon's name much since the first quarter. She was very, very good early, but potentially gone out of the game a little bit. I wonder if she could be a spark here with a minute left to go.
Rory Ling, Rory Ling's gone forward. Nearly looked like a throw. Castle come in first. Now the STJFL will just release it out. There's a 1-on-2 here in the middle of the ground. Numbers coming now towards the football. They'll try and use that spread and handball. A little bit of a rush kick. I reckon she had a little bit more time. Edwards misses the mark. In fact, that was might not have been Edwards. Now coming out of the back of the pack. There's a shot on goal. It's dribbling towards it. There's a race on now. It should be now picked up by Donato. Donato seals it.
I'll tell you what, she kicked the first goal of the match, and I reckon she might have just kicked the last. So she's bookended it. That's a fantastic finish. They just surged the ball forward, didn't they? And a sheer weight of numbers in the end.
Look at that.
Tess McDonough, that was fantastic.
She's been really good in this quarter. I don't know if she was playing forward in that first quarter, but yeah, Tess was great. And then the follow-up just running out of legs, didn't they? And they just probably don't have the speed in that back half. I don't think the NTJFA.
No, I think that's probably 3 or 4 goals that the South have got that have just been over the back, and that leg speed has been really, really important and a massive factor in that as the final siren sounds to end the first representative game of the day. So it's the STJFL kicking very straight, 7-2-44, have defeated the NTJFA 4-4-28, which was a fantastic game of football.
Yeah, good result there. And the STJFL have got one. Haven't won one for a while. Actually, in fact, they might have only won one over the last few years. I have to get those stats, but it's been a tremendous performance here for the STJFL as they've done the damage. Maybe just some of the best players for the South, for yourself, before we then move on and warm ourselves up for the boys' game.
I think Charlotte Barnes in the middle, I think she probably spent 100% of game time in the midfield, and she was probably best on ground in my eyes. Isabel O'Rourke really worked into the game nicely. Her final quarter was outstanding. Sophie Strong in the midfield was brilliant all day. Sophie Mead as well for the STJFL. We're all big contributors. Matilda Harvey was fantastic down back as well. Also kicked a goal, I believe. And for the NTJFA, well, they had some tireless workers all day. Emma Castles was brilliant. Emily Fazakli down back was strong in the contest. Keely Morrison with a goal as well, and potentially the captain Georgia Harbour was pretty influential at times as well.
Yeah, they just sort of changed themselves around. I think the midfield for the STJFL was just a bit more composed. They maybe didn't have the strength, but they had the game plan was more in tune to the style of football that's now being played in the higher level of representing football for the females, that are able to spread the ball out of that contest and get their runners coming off, particularly off half back and through the middle, and that just maybe played a little bit too much with the setup around that middle of the ground for the NTJFA, trying to find some new players to get a bit of the game. But it was, I mean, it was close until 3 minutes to go, wasn't it, Tom? Really, with 3 minutes to go, the game was still on with only 2 kicks on it, but Donato with that late goal from the STJFL, they were able to get the victory. So 7-2, 44 to 4-4-28. A victory here, and the first points to the Southerners as the boys coming out onto North Hobart Oval. We'll have a break here with Aaron Roberts, Tom Green here on Duff TV, the NTJFA STJFL Representative Series. It's the boys next, the under-16s. I hope you stick around for this one. Keep yourself warm, get yourself a cup of tea, and we'll be back in a few moments.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, After-Hours Dr Hobart is open every day till 10 p.m. Phone for an appointment or book online. And for added convenience, you'll also find your Hobart Chemist also open until 10. When minor accidents and illness happen, we're here for you. After Hours Dr Hobart and your Hobart Chemist, open till 10 p.m. every day.
Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, delicious in every way. Loving the taste, love it homemade, their own recipes, freshly baked. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste.
And welcome everybody. Second of these representative games. It's the NTJFA and STJFL 16 Boys clash. And really looking forward to this Aaron Roberts, Tom Green in the commentary box, which we've managed to finally work out how to use the heater. And we're starting to start to hopefully maybe just start to thaw out a little bit. This thawing out was Oliver Atkins in that one, but straight away it's been won out here by the STJFL Brereton. A couple of those names I imagine we're going to call a little bit. Ship in there first. He falls over on the ground. Gapin, also number 2, will fall out. Swing around on his pack on his left boot. Starts off with a stunner. Williamson, what a goal.
Fantastic start there by the STJFL. It all started in the middle with Marty Brereton with that long blonde hair. Very, very similar to a namesake of his. Played a fair bit of football for Hawthorn in the 1980s and 90s and worked it forward and ended up with Ethan Williamson with a nice left foot snap.
It's a good snap, isn't it?
Great start.
Great start here. So the STJFL who going strong favourites into this game. The NTJFA probably not having their best group in for this. A few of them unavailable, and a few choosing not to participate in the rep game, with a lot of other football happening. As then the tap comes over the top by Stone, who will probably play a fair bit in the ruck. The ball's been forced out, so a little sticky. So g'day to those that have joined us as Brereton has won the footy again. Expect a pretty fast start in this boys representative game. STJFL Girls winning for the first time for quite a few years, only a few moments ago. That was a rip-snorting match, as neither team really clearing it out. There's Harry Brereton. He couldn't win it. Now it's been shucked out by Watts. Watts' kick, and it's been taken away here by the STJFL.
Hamish Watt with a driving ball into the centre of the ground. And a fantastic mark coming out there by the STJFL player, who can't just quite grab his number at the moment, but he spears it into centre half forward, and quick hands and great ball movement here by STJFL. They've gone wide into the pocket now. Might be Williamson again. Handball to Cracknell. Weaving in tight quarters at the moment, but a handball back to Brereton. He's under pressure. He gets the handball out, holding it in there, and I reckon it's a stalemate. We'll have a ball up 40 metres out from the south goal.
It's the current temperature here in Hobart. It's about 5 degrees, but it says it's 1 at the moment. Feels like 1.
It's Harry Brereton out to Marty Brereton. Hugh Hardcastle there. Nice vision, lowered the eyes, fantastic kick, finds Forrest. I think at the moment we've got the score at 1-6 to the NTJFA. I think that might need to be changed to the STJFL, because I think they might have scored the opening goal through Williamson, and now they're having another shot on goal here with Winston Forrest. So a fast start.
Too easy, wasn't it?
Was. And the Brereton boys have been very, very busy early in the midfield. As he approaches now, it's a nice looking kick. It's out to the left. It might not make the distance, though, and the Flyers are there. And number 15, Jackson Thorpe, has taken the mark for the STJFL, and from point blank range says thank you very much.
Well, the issue for the NTJFA and their only rep game they've played so far this year against Mornington, and these are all not necessarily win-loss isn't necessarily the critical bit, but their defence was just smashed, and they really struggled to get a defensive group together. Too easy, wasn't it then, Tom, for that mark? It's
a couple of times now, I think, that they've just sort of dominated the aerial sort of battle, and it seems like at ground level at the moment they're going to work there as well, the south. So starts in the middle of the ground here for the NTJFA, and they really need to start getting their hands on the ball. Let's see what happens here as play resumes. Hardcastle in the ruck again. Nice tackle. Another stalemate. We'll do it all again. Both ruckmen going at it, and that's a tap. A nice hit out by the NTJFA. Zach Jones there's trying to work, get his hands on the footy. Cracknell again. Nice run off half-back provided there from Hamish Watt. So a nice ball inside the 50, and once again, I think that might be Angus McShane, a product out of Hutchins. So he's on the 50. Low spearing ball, probably not the desired result, and I reckon. Oh, he's played a throw, so it's going to be a free kick going to the south. I thought maybe he just might have held onto him a fraction long.
Yeah, it's a 50-50, but he's called the throw, which I suppose happened second, didn't it?
It's Otto Newstead who's going to send that one long. It might just be drifting across the face. 3 for 1 behind, so it's the first minor of the afternoon, the STJFL.
So fast start here for the Southerners. We expected that they were going to be the favourites, and well and truly favourites, as the NTJFA's defence is under a considerable amount of pressure. Short kick in, too easy again. And it's McShane, who's already had 1 shot on goal, and he's going to be a fraction closer this time. And he's maybe going to get a little bit of a zephyr across him from his left-hand shoulder, just between the Roy Kazali stand and the George Miller stand there. And another shot here. So they haven't gone past halfway. Maybe some changes to come in this back half. It's being bombarded. McShane from 45. Geez, he's towed it again, hasn't he? And they fly up at the pack. No one can get it down and about. The drop ball thrown out then by Jackson Stone, and that's gone through for a minor. Riley Stone, I should say. I think Jackson's his brother. And a minor score. So they've got a chance now, the NTJFA, just to hold the ball for a little bit out of defence. Really have a great structure here. Kind of thinking what their plan is, other than just to go long towards that George Miller side of the ground. It's going to be clunked into a pack of players. It's not really advantage their team. The running pass came, ball's thrown to the ground. Neither team can get it out. Faulkner nearly winning it then. It's been cleared for now. It's okay. It comes out wide. Short kick up. It's been chopped off by the STJFL. Now steady already. They look a little bit too smart. Massey was good. He goes wide. Stood the boundary. He's going to get it back, and they'll transition play, I imagine, to this attacking side of the ground. All the dads will be telling him, boys, attack, attack. You've got to attack on the tiered side of the ground. And it's been one over the top here by Brereton. He goes back to try and wins his footy. Loses his feet. Goes again, Brereton. Look at the NTJFA. It's been picked out here. And it's going to be a free kick one here by Oliver Atkins. He's had a couple of touches. Atkins has a lead into the middle, and it seems strange that he just bombs it now. It just really advantages the STJFL. Sweeping down is Turnbull, and Turnbull in the end rushes it over, and it's out of bounds in the left pocket.
And perhaps their first real look at a scoring opportunity now for the NTJFA, and they probably need to take this one, I reckon, if they get the opportunity. Just seems that the South are sort of doing everything in the air and on the ground at the moment. It looks like they've got more numbers out there or something, because we haven't really been able to call many of the North boys yet. There might have been a kicking in danger, and I reckon it's going to go the way of the NTJFA. It is. So they're going to have a shot from 15 metres out, pretty much directly in front for a much-needed goal. And it's Isaac Bramich who's going to take this one. Wasting no time with his approach. And in he comes, a little bit stuttery, but I think he might have done enough. It is. It's a goal.
Gee, it was a teaser, wasn't it?
It was, yep. Oh, hang on. There's been a little bit of confusion between umpires and players here, because I think...
So it's behind, is it?
Well, Noah Meredith has just sort of thought, I'm going to take a kick in here. But the goal umpire had signalled a goal, so a little bit of confusion all around here at North Hobart Oval. But I think the general consensus is now that the NTJFA have scored their first goal for the afternoon. And we're heading back towards the middle of the ground now to resume play. And what a strong start from the South, but it's an important goal now. We saw in the early game all the scoring was done to the left of screen. We've seen 2 goals early to the right. As Hardcastle wins that hit out again in the middle of the ground, and probably another ball up, as we've seen a fair bit of early. Repeat stoppages here. Nice tap there from the North ruckman.
And Hardcastle's a problem, isn't he, in that ruck positioning at the moment. He's really dominating things.
Certainly giving them first use at the moment. Here they go again. Couple of boys with the helmets on there. Bursting through the pack was Watt. He's been busy early. Or maybe just might have had it too long, but no, the handball's out. McShane works towards half forward. You know what you're going to get from McShane. He's a workhorse. He's hard. He's tough. And he'll be in the bottom of every contest, I would imagine, throughout the course of this match. Hardcastle again in the ruck. Nice tap out there. Oliver Atkins, who started well, falls to Watt again, who's also been prominent early, and that's a nice driving ball inside 50. And the mark's been taken. And is that Williamson? I think it might be. He scored the first goal this afternoon, and he's going to have a shot from about 30 metres out, pretty much directly in front for his second and the STJFL's third. Once again, just out of the middle of the ground, they just seem to be pretty dominant. As that kick heads towards goal, I think the wind might have just taken that one across the face for one behind. So 2-3-15. The STJFL lead the NTJFA 1 straight 6 there on the Brighton Best Bakehouse scoreboard. Nice spearing ball in to resume play. And it's the North who look. Now, what can they do? Can they just try and hold possession for a little while? It's a turnover already. I think that might have been Chesterman with a quick kick. And Williamson is causing some headaches for them, Aaron, at the moment. Up forward. This will be his third shot on goal. He's kicked 1 goal, 1 so far. But just playing in front and reaps the rewards there of a man who's been able to get to the front of the pack. He's taken the mark. Once again, not wasting any time. That one's straight over the goal umpire's hat, so he gets his second. The STJFL get their third. So it's 3-3-21, and they lead the North 1 straight 6.
Yeah, this is could be a really tough few minutes here for the NTJFA. As the STJFL are right on top with 3 goals, and Williamson, as you mentioned, he looks like a real potential up forward, but yeah, they're just not the quality. The thing is that there are quality footballers in the North. They're just not playing this side, and maybe just some more experience from the coaching group as well from the South, and a few years together, these guys. They win that one. No one really helping out the hands of Shady, who will. Probably taken high then, and the umpire says, Oliver Atkins, you've got a free kick. And he's just the defensive side. Just a little over Zubris there. Now he just chips it up towards half forward, but just far too easy. STJFL dominating. Quick kick on then by McMurray. McMurray's kick didn't really advantage either of his teammate. There's a handball back over the back. It's a high ball. It's going to be dancing in towards Carl Fraser. Carl Fraser then laid a tackle late, and then he high ball came out. It went about 12 metres. The umpire said that's okay. This is the short option on. This is where they'll use their run and carry. Thorpe over the top is good. He's got some more numbers. This is this handball game we saw from the STJFL in their representative game. The kick probably didn't necessarily advantage the STJFL. And it's now chasing out the man who kicked a goal in that first moments was Williamson. He's wheeling around onto his left boot. Now it's towards Rigari.
It's a goal,
and that's another. Well, Rigari had it. He was just swamped by pressure, and the STJFL score another goal. So it went a bit blurry. I might have to stand up and just have a look out to see some of the players at the moment and see some of the structures for the NTJFA and see what moves they can make. This off-season, as I mentioned, it's not necessarily about winning and losing, but these guys just need to get some clarity on what their purpose is at the moment, because they look a little lost.
I think it might have been Maxi Gapin there who just finished off the good work there. And it started down back with a very courageous mark from George Chesterman, who took a risk and he went inboard to the corridor. And it was a fantastic option, and it really set them up because they used the fat side of the ground fantastically well there, the South. And it just enabled them that clear entry into the 50. And they look really, really dangerous inside forward 50 at the moment. I think there's a holding free kick, and that'll go to the North. It might be the ruckman there. No, it's going to go to Cooper Shady. So he's been busy in the midfield. They've just got to start to try and get their hands on the ball a little bit. He'll drive them deep towards half forward. A nice searching ball and a nice lead. It comes off hands. There's Faulkner there. Once again, though, just seem to have all the answers in ground level, and that's a strong mark from Brereton. He's got options aplenty if he wants to use. He's got the short option wide, and I think he's going to use him, and I think that might be Jackson Thorpe. Tries to go with a quick handball, but there's a turnover in the middle of the ground. What can they do now? The numbers should be probably with the North here, and it's Shady who sends a nice ball inside 50. They needed to hold that mark there, Page, unfortunately. And they, well,
Fraser's won a free kick, but I reckon it was only holding the man, wasn't it?
It looked holding the man for me, but potentially it was dropping the ball. So, once again, maybe a little bit fortunate here.
No, that's fair enough.
Yep.
He didn't dispose of. Good call.
So, Cale Fraser with an opportunity to kick the second goal now for the NTJFA. It's been a pretty fast start. As the approach comes in. I think that one's gone across the face, left-hand side. That's for one behind, and the captain, Noah Meredith, is going to take the kick out. Waste no time either.
He usually plays back too, Fraser. Well, not always back, Fraser, but yeah, that was a backman's kick, wasn't it?
It did look like that. Here's Chesterman again. And that's a wobbly sort of kick. On the Ward centre wing now, working hard in close quarters. Eden Hills, handball out now, finds its way to Brereton, who just arches the back. Fantastic roll.
Wow.
Potentially he's gone a bit too fast.
Let's have a look. Let's count his steps there, Jack. Let's have a look at that one on the replay. I reckon the umpire was right. They generally get this one right. Here we go. One time, he's a long way back, is he? 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. He's run 30, I reckon. Oh, yeah, no, maybe run about 17.
17, I think.
There's Fraser at the back, couldn't mark the football. Ship coming in, he couldn't win it. Fraser off the ground, he's going to get it again. Fraser in the left pocket, turns around, looks for some help. He didn't really have much help. Brereton lays a tackle, gets that one spilt out, taps out. Now gets towards McMurray. He's been pretty good in defence so far, just spilling the ball and look a little rush does the NTJFA Faulkner. Just needed to be a fraction cleaner there with his ball. The high ball comes in towards Smedley, who won the BNF last year. His dad's a coach as well. Thumping it out with his hands, but then scooping on to win that as Visor, I should say. Gets it towards the middle. Numbers around this one as a quick handball, but Gapin came down and just got that one. That nearly looked like a high tackle there as Blunt came over the top, and he's actually called that one a two-movement tackle for the umpire, and he's given away a free kick. He's got a long lead on. He elects to go a little wider on the ground and finds Forrest. Forrest has got two players now. He just need to get the ball going then, Forrest. He held it, and now he finally got it to Hardcastle, the ruckman, and a little nudge out then, just a little too easy. Then he fell to his knees, just sloppy stuff as maybe just the conditions are making it a little bit hard. Scooping around is Gapin. Gapin misses to the left-hand side. Probably should have kicked that one, I reckon.
It's been a bit of an opportunist down there, Maxi Gapin. And he's started pretty well. 1 goal, 1 for him now as play resumes. I don't know if that's going to be a great kick. That's a turnover. Winston Forrest just filling in the hole. I think they've got a couple of numbers inboard, and that's a beautiful kick. A lateral kick to Brereton, sorry. And that's Marty Brereton, who's probably been arguably best on ground in this opening quarter. Seems to be finding a lot of the ball. He's very, very good below his knees. Very clean. And he'll be lining up for the STJFL's 5th goal.
Well, the issue there, I think, is some of these defenders for the NTJFA actually play midfield. they're just out of it.
Not going to quite get the journey, and potentially a mark on the behind line there from Eden Hills. Has it been paid? I think it has been paid. So this will be interesting. Wonder if he's a left or right footer here, because he might have to go around on that left foot, or is he going to go a check side? Regardless, it's a tough kick. Check side, he's hit the post. So he played on the right boot, and he's cannoned it into the woodwork. So let's see how they set up here, the North. Can they try and get it out of that defensive 50? It's going to be the long kick, and I think that's the better option to a contest, not favouring either side. Coming in from the side was the North player. Here's McMurray, who's been busy early. Might have got a high tackle there, I reckon, Visor.
I reckon Visor was definitely high, but I reckon the umpire couldn't see either.
Blindsided. McMurray, I think he's been fantastic. You watch him on the replay there, he's been busy early off half back. Wilbur McMurray. Nice tap there by the ruckman there, Riley Stone. I reckon that's going to go off hands, out of bounds. Near the STJFL bench, coached today by Troy Bennett.
He's been good, Troy. I can just tell he's got his midfield working well, and you can just see them. Look at this. There's 4 NTJFA players by themselves, which means there's 2 STJFL guys by themselves too.
Fortunately, it's just come into the hands there of Shady, who's been good. Held to him, and we'll have another stoppage.
Let's just look at this again. Probably not playing quite anti-Destiny rule either at the moment. It's a curious one for me. They're just really out of whack in these stoppages. A lot of ball watching at the moment. As Holton was taken without possession, scooping down as Atkins. But let's just look at this again, Tom, to see how they're set up. There's a lot of players around the ball, isn't there?
You can see Marty Brereton there in the background. He's just marshalling the troops.
He is, isn't he?
The instructional talk by the South is fantastic. And there he is again, just bursting through the back. Handball off to Thorpe was brilliant. Good pressure, though, from the North here as they try to create potentially another stalemate. Out the back there, a handball quickly on towards centre wing. Working hard again. And it's pretty fumbly at the moment. In there, it's hard to get a clear possession. There's a free kick found, and probably Once again, Brereton's going to have the ball. It's his first thought to look inboard, isn't he, to try and open the ground up. And there he goes to the true centre-half forward position. Over the back of the pack, out comes, was that Williamson again, potentially? Driving ball in long towards full forward, and the numbers are with the South, but the Siren's going to beat them, as they've just taken a fantastic mark there. I believe that might have been Anthony Volter, but the Siren has beaten him and his team. But a fantastic opening quarter from the STJFL. 9 scoring shots to 3. It's 4-5-29 to 2-1-13. Bit of soul searching to do for the NTJFA.
It's about where it's at, though, the two teams, I think, anyway. They're probably 25% better across the field. But the intensity from the NTJFA is really good for that last 4 or 5 minutes.
Definitely.
They actually threw an extra couple of players, or an extra couple of numbers around the contest just to try and stop that spread. But all it resulted was indisciplined free kicks, and Brereton won that free kick here right in front of us. There was an extra number in then from the North, but some poor defensive work. And Brereton's been outstanding, hasn't he? What a quarter he's had, and he stands out. Yes, the blonde hair, it looks fantastic, but just the movement of the football from the STJFL, the way that they've structured around the stoppages, the way they're able to spread the ball, and the way that they've had some deep entries inside their forward line that probably could have kicked. In saying that, though, when the NTJFA did eventually go forward, and they're kicking towards the scoring end of the ground, they looked okay. Fraser up forward a couple of times, got near the football, had one shot on goal that he missed, but it's going to be a hard old game. The ground has dried out a fraction. We've got a little bit of breeze that's come across. It's still in the low single-digit numbers. But you're on Duff TV. It's representative football. It's 4-5 to 1-1-7. The STJFL leading. We'll be back in a few moments for the second quarter.
Good.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, after-hours Dr. Hobart is open.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, after-hours Dr. Hobart is open every day till 10 p.m. Phone for an appointment or book online. And for added convenience, you'll also find your Hobart chemist also open until 10. When minor accidents and illness happen, we're here for you. After Hours Dr. Hobart and your Hobart chemist, open till 10 p.m. every day.
Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, delicious in every way. Loving the taste, love it homemade. Their own recipes, freshly baked. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste.
free kick's been found. It's going the way of the South. Be taken there by Ryan Turnbull, who'll drive them in long towards that hot spot. Now it's a short kick. He sees something he likes, but the execution just wasn't there. Cut off by Fraser. Out wide he goes towards Gerard. Nice handball, good link up. This is better play from the North. What can they do with this foray forward? Back into the middle of the ground it goes though. Gapin's there again, working hard. Handball out, so they're getting their hands on the footy a little bit more this quarter, the North. Once again though in the air, doing the damage is Watt, who's been pretty busy early in this match. Sends it back towards half forward. Good contest there by Hills, and he's also butted up at ground level. I reckon it'll be held to him. We'll have another ball up.
So, been all right this quarter, the NTJFA. They've been able to just stop the run of goals. Most of the goals have been to the left for the girls' game, and it's been pretty much still stuffed them out, 117 to 4-6-30. So, the lead still, and it could be increased again as that's been chipped off. I think that's Hills with the footy. Without my binoculars on it, struggling to see at the moment.
It's Hills.
But Hills is around 40 out. He's going to be kicking from a slight angle, and it was just a turnover. And really, this will be the first opportunity for the STJFL. They had one early shot from Gapin, which went to the left, and now Hills with no breeze from 45. The ball goes high, it's fading a fair way, and the umpire charges to his left-hand side and signals are behind. So we might now get an indication if the NTJFA have just changed their setup here. Now it's a long kick to the flank. They've actually gone the chip. That's okay. Fine Ship. Ship has got a shot or a short pass on. He's going to go the more defensive route, just up towards half forward. Fraser, he just sneaks out the back of the pack. It's maybe not the best kick from Fraser. He let himself down in that first quarter when he turned it over. Turning it around is Atkins, who's had a little bit of ball. Ship might get there first. It eludes him. Needed to politics, two hands in that footy. Punch coming over the back of the pack, and it's going to be cleared. So not bad here. The NTJFA have just steadied things, and STJFL kind of just lost their spread a little bit. Their spread and movement of the footballers. Hardcastle coming into the ruck. He's going to be up against Stone. They've battled really well. Hardcastle with his tap over the back. Atkins trying to win. Sweeping down onto that one was Cracknell out of really good first quarter. Gapin with a short kick. It goes over the top of him. Now the run on. Brereton lays a tackle. Did he tackle him too long? The umpire agreed. It was right in front of the umpire as well. And that was a fairly easy call. Now this is the difference. The 45 option isn't there for the NTJFA. It's good old-fashioned go around the circle work here at the moment. Thomas now the 45 was the wrong option. Brereton now tips off the handball. Shot on goal from 35. It's out to the right. In fact, it's a long way out to the right. It's gone out of bounds on the full, and that was a disappointing effort as both teams are trying to find a way through and get a score in this second quarter.
Just saw the Brereton boys there doing a bit of work together, and that was fantastic to see. I think Marty Brereton's gone forward now, and I just think that that's sort of given the NTJFA a little bit more of an opportunity around the ball, and they've certainly tightened that up this quarter. Nice tackle, and that's holding the footy. So it looks like that's going to be taken there, and the quick handball, the quick release, and a nice driving ball inside 50. Fantastic work below his knees. There was Thorpe. Spills to Brereton. Quick handball off to Cracknell. He uses his vision. It's set up in the air for a fair bit of time. Harry Brereton takes the mark. He plays on, wastes no time, sends one towards goal, and I think he's kicked it.
No, yes, he has. Tell you what, the umpire confused me then.
He's confused me a couple of times.
He's confusing himself. Let's just look at the replay here. So there's the initial Brereton handball. It's good by Cracknell. It was a very high ball though, wasn't it? But I suppose he had to get it over the defensive group. And he just played on. Look at the umpire here. Oh yeah, that certainly sailed through. He got snuck in behind the goalpost.
Well, that's the one they didn't want to concede there, the NTJFA. Just having a little bit of trouble working it out of their defensive 50, I think, and that turnover proved costly. Just waiting for a ball to get us back up and going here.
Well, I'm just looking out. There's a ball at one end. There's only two footies out there at the moment. I was involved in an NTFA Resi Grand Final last year when I say I was involved. I was sitting on the interchange watching the game, and there was only one football on with a kick the difference with 2 minutes to go, and I was texting someone, get another football. It's never a great look.
No.
Stone couldn't win it. And once again, that clearing ball is Brereton chips out. A strange option to go out wide because he brought Faulkner into the game when he probably didn't need to come into it, but they've managed to go back to go forward again. First onto that's going to be Thorpe. Thorpe just keeps it inside the boundary line, runs around one of his defenders and scoops the ball in towards Matty Gapin. I should say Maxi Gapin. Then Brereton gets the footy, gets it in towards a hot spot. Brilliant from Brereton. Geez, that's a good kick.
I think it might be the son of Matty Gapin, though.
Yeah, well, that's what seems right, doesn't it? Look, wonderful kick, and it's found the hands of Eden Hills. He's had a couple of shots, hasn't he, Tom, in this game?
He has, yep. I think he'll be lining up for his first here, though, but
just that delivery in, so this will be interesting. Eden Hills directly in front from 30 metres. It's a little awkward, and it's resulted in, that's that fourth behind to that right hand. It's like the vortex is sucking the ball into that right-hand side goal and point post for the STJFL, and they just can't get it. So Ship's out next to jump here against a taller player. Coming out the back was Page. Page couldn't quite win the footy. Neither team able to win the footy out of that one, and it's going to be held up. So I kind of think, other than what the first 2 minutes, Tom, the NTJFA went forward. I don't think they've been anywhere near that area as Oliver Atkins just hacks it up. Fraser at the back, he nearly wins the footy down, and then the help comes as the cavalry arrives. It was Chesterman who was trying to win the bully and drag it out and win the football, but he couldn't. And we'll have a throw up here. First into that one is Hardcastle, swoops out. Ship couldn't hang on to it off that half back, and then a driving ball into the pocket. It's not a bad cheer. It's a wobbly punt.
Not sure if that was the intention, but it's worked though, and it's found its way into the hands of Jack Miller. Nice handball to
Brereton. Brereton for the pocket. He's gone to the top. It still might be one at the back. It is taken by Gapin, isn't it?
So he'll be lining up for his second here, and once again Brereton involved in that passage of play. I reckon he might have been having a shot, but
I don't know. I reckon 50-50 what he benefit of the doubt will give it. Look, if Gapin kicks a goal, we'll call it an assist. He kicks a goal. So Gapin gets it, and a deserved goal, and they've had a couple of good minutes here, the STJFL, and they've really broken this game apart.
Yeah, and you just sort of get the sense they've scored 8 behind, so potentially the scoreboard might be a little bit flattering, even for the NTJFA. So, but now with the scoreboard at 6-8, 44 to 1-1-7, it's starting to get a little bit ugly. First couple of minutes of this quarter, we just got the sense that potentially they might work their way back into the game, and now I think they've just got a stranglehold on at the south. Back in the middle, Hardcastle to do battle with Stone again. It's been a fantastic duel, these two in the ruck.
It's probably one where it's level, isn't it?
That's right.
Positions.
Thrown Wilbur McMurray into the midfield there as well. It was pretty good off half back early in that first quarter. Hack off the ground, but he's missed his boot, and I reckon he might have just got one in the back there. Potentially was Cooper Shady.
Great name, isn't it?
Fantastic, fantastic.
If Cooper's not in a rock band somewhere, I don't know what's going on.
Going to get that one sorted. That's just gone over the top of his teammate there in Berwick. It's been cut off by Carter Roach, who looks to switch the play now. It's a nice ball again. See the blonde hair of Brereton, who's going to use that handball again to his captain. Drives it long towards centre half forward. It's just going to bounce out the back, and the numbers are with the south. Quick handball over the top. Ends with Gapin. He's got the loose one over. He's probably handballed it to himself there a little bit. Kept it in play to Williamson. He's going to have a look. First option was to snap around the corner, but then the vision and the unselfish nature of his game has meant that he's been able to set up his teammate there.
Just look at this first in the replay. Gapin really wanted it, but that was far too easy as Williamson got it out, but then he had 3 players to kick it to. So it's all fine to say you might not have the skill level or even the structures, but 3 NTJFA players were standing still and 3 STJFL players were stationary, ready for the ball.
Once again,
it's coming back.
I think it's come back nicely, actually. I thought it was going to drift across the face, but it's a goal. So they've scored their 7th now. And what you're saying there, Aaron, I just think when there's a turnover and the South have the ball, they're just a little bit slow to react, the NTJFA, and it's just causing them a lot of headaches at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, having watched a lot of sport and being a pretty average sport participant myself, that's motivation. Like, partly that, and also it's partly communication. Who's the leader in that group? Who's assigned to be doing the communication? Maybe no one is. Not assigned, but no one's feeling confident to speak up and lead that group, and I think that's partly what's letting them down. Whereas on the other hand, we can hear the STJFL players from our commentary position communicate and talk, particularly around those stoppages.
Instructional voice is certainly there for the men in blue, that's for sure. And Brereton back into the middle and straight into the action. He might have got one high, nothing doing, so a handball out the back.
You might even get it back here, Brereton.
He's sort of everywhere. I reckon he's given away a free here, though. So Fraser to move them forward towards half forward. Once again, the numbers with the South at ground level, though. Perhaps North might be able to move the ball forward. Beautiful tackle, and again, the captain there in Meredith. Well, that's a dangerous kick across the face of goal, but it's worked out okay. McShane takes the mark, and he's quick to play on. Hamish Watt there. McShane butters up again, and it's out of bounds.
Can we have a replay of that one? Look at this from McShane. He was the last person who was meant to get the footy then, but he managed to win it. Was maybe just back as another step, Jack. Jero's critiquing your pots and pans work, mate. No, it was back a bit. That's okay. We're got a throw in here. Just attacking side, as maybe it's gone up half a degree here at North Hobart Oval. Brereton again, spills out. That's Harry Brereton. No one winning the ball. Drifted out the back here, hitting the ball straight to an NTJFA player who was being manned up. So strange decision. Fraser now gets it. He's got one, weaves between a small space and then kicks it out of bounds on the full, which indicates a bit of pressure, and that ball's out the back. It's nearly down onto Ride Street there. Hopefully someone's going to get it back here. Now we're going to go and get the football from the back end of the ground. Let's see if the umpire can kick it. Oh, he's going to throw it. Disappointing. We love our goal umpires on Duff TV. They're one of our favourite parts of a game of either junior or community football. But our favourite goal umpires have got to be the school goal umpires. The dads or the teachers come in with just a lackadaisical effort. It's pretty lackadaisical at the moment as Watt's got it off half back. The STJFL, he's going to decide a wide option. Brereton should get onto it first. He's going to have to get the ball out and spin. Gets around one. Far too easy. Then looked up and didn't really have a lot of options. Sweeping onto its Gapin. Gapin just tries to tap it to himself. Now going down is Thomas. Thomas loses the football. Pushing through was Harry Brereton. He couldn't quite win possession of the football. And now it's just going to be held. No, it's not. Smedley, Fraser, diving down in the footy. Did he dispose of it? The umpire's going to say no.
He's unlucky there.
But he made an effort, didn't he, Tom?
He did, and I think he's been one of their better players for sure. Every time he goes near the ball, it just looks like something's going to happen, whether it's a positive or a negative. I'm not quite sure, but something's happening when he gets possession.
Well, what's happened is that Hardcastle's got it. That's what's happened, is that Fraser's made all the play, but he was unable to dispose of it, which partly indicates who's blocking, who's providing an options where it is. But Hardcastle from 45, there's been a lot of shots on goal at 7-8 in this quarter. The kick coming back, has it got the legs? No, as the last minute the NTJFA get a clenched fist or a clenched hand to it and goes through for a minor score. It's tough work at the moment as the ball's been predominantly bound in that. As Stone, I reckon he's nearly marked that Stone. The umpire didn't pay it. Now it's been won by Miller, and Miller's gone over the boundary line and we'll have a ball up.
Good effort there by Stone. He's been really, really strong in the ruck. Like we said before, I think that's probably been the key matchup of the day. Certainly very, very even, these two in the ruck at the moment. They're going to go at it again, Hardcastle and Stone. Another even battle. Spills out the back, though, to Winston Forrest, and he scrubs a kick forward, and it just eludes the full forward players, and minor score. Quick to bring it back into play, and that's a nice kick. Now, let's see what they can do here. Can they work it out of...
Well, Thomas is short, and he's gone there.
He's found him. Now, what's the next option? This is where they've really, really struggled, haven't they? Just to get that ball out of that defensive 50. And once again, in the hole, sitting there is the South player. I think that might be Watt again. Nice ball into Hardcastle, who we just saw had a shot. Couldn't quite get the journey from sort of 30, 35. He's gone with a quick handball. It's come unstuck now. What can they do? It's Fraser again. He'll sort of grubby a little kick out of the congestion, and Faulkner. Oh, fantastic play. And he'll look back inside now. Once again, a grubby kick. Fantastic pickup. Handball over the top, pretty much to himself, but the numbers with the South again. And Hardcastle, who's doing a mountain of work at the moment. Forrest just couldn't quite hold on to that one. Working overtime in the centre of the ground of these boys at the moment, in the shadows of half-time. Good handball out there by Carter Roach. And just quick kick out of the congestion. It's a nice mark by North. They've got some space out the back if they can get it out there. At the fall of the ball, working towards, still in hot water at the moment. Tight congestion that comes out towards the boundary line. Picked up beautifully there by Gerard, and a quick snap towards goal. It's going to be touched on the line by Michael Visor.
Well, that was lucky because it was a snap. It was a pretty ineffectual type of footy there for a couple of minutes, as both these teams just falling across the line towards half-time. With around about 75 seconds left, the ball's deep in defence, the short option's on. It's probably the best option to Miller. He looks up, he runs around the player on the mark, he kicks it up high. Just at the back was Forrest. He couldn't get it. Sweeping on and dancing around was Cracknell. The left foot's okay, it just gets it out towards the middle. Thomas might get in there. He doesn't get in there first. Cruising around, and a nice straight kick from Ryan. Ryan up towards half forward, trying to find Brereton. Brereton couldn't quite claim the mark. Now sweeping back onto it with a little check side was Volta. He's ineffective though in the end. NTJFA going to be swamped here. They have to hold on if they can manage just to stem and not get a late scoring goal with around 30 seconds left. But in the end, out of everything, Gapin gets one. Well, you just felt that was probably going to come as Maxi Gapin, he dobs one right in the goal square. He's probably not going to get two more easy than that. We just see just desperately trying to hang on here, the NTJFA defence. Gapin's to stand there by himself. Needs to get across. I mean, yeah, unlucky. I can understand
absolutely
why he would have gone across, but
just a bit of ball watching there, I think, from the
yeah, and Oliver Atkins has been pretty good too. He's been in the middle, and on that occasion he was actually trying to defend two players as maybe just sucked in towards the play. It's half-time here. It's at 8-11, 59 to 1-2-8 on the Brighton Best Bakehouse scoreboard. And maybe just a snapshot in the narrative of the game so far from you, Tom Green.
Well, obviously, it's pretty one-way traffic at the moment. It's a 50-point lead at half-time to the STJFL, and they've just been really, really impressive around the midfield. And I think they're giving themselves first use, and then those long balls inside 50, they look really, really dangerous up forward. Ethan Williamson, I'm sorry, has been very, very dangerous both in the air and on the ground. Marty Brereton in the midfield is doing some extraordinary things. He's everywhere. Maxi Gapin, I think, might have kicked 3 as well. So some strong players for the South, and a bit of soul searching and a bit of work to do for the North at half-time.
Yeah, just a few players. Cooper Shady's really tried his heart out for the NTJFA. I thought Oliver Atkins was being particularly good in that quarter. We mentioned Riley Stone in the ruck was engaged just a couple of occasions. Lockie Holton had a fair bit of work to do, and Regari down the back as well. Ship bobbed up once and twice, and so did Faulkner. But overall, just the structure for the STJFL around the ball. They've got the better winners. They've got the prime movers with Marty Brereton, Harry Brereton and Maxi Gapin, 3 big names of footy in Southern Tassie. Doing the job at the moment for the juniors. We're going to have a break here on Duff TV. Aaron Roberts is finishing and tuning this one out. It's a very cold day. Jack Duffy is doing some work. Got Tom here helping us out, and MJ on the camera. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. We hope the fire is crackling. We'll be back here on Duff TV in just a few moments.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, After-Hours Dr Hobart is open every day till 10 p.m. Phone for an appointment or book online. And for added convenience, you'll also find your Hobart Chemist also open until 10. When minor accidents and illness happen, we're here for you. After-Hours Dr Hobart and your Hobart Chemist, open till 10 p.m. every day.
Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, delicious in every way. Loving the taste, love it homemade, their own recipes, freshly baked. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste.
second half action here on Duff TV, the STJFL 8-11-59. The NTJFA, just the one goal. Yeah, 1 goal, 2-8 on the Best Break House scoreboard. And what I find really interesting is both teams came out with about 40 seconds to go. So they delayed and delayed to try and stay away from the cool environment that's out there. But it's one place that's really hot is around the midfield for the STJFL. They've been outstanding so far. I think they've made a few changes too. Maybe to just play around with a few things, give some players maybe an opportunity. Newstead looks like he might be involved straight away.
Saw McShane's gone into the midfield as well, I think.
But just look at that kick. Beretta was completely cheating at the back and not even want to be involved in the footy. And somehow he's ended with it. So it's Artie Beretta now. He's probably had 20 touches, I reckon about 80% effective. He's now going to have a shot within the first minute, directly in front from 45 metres. That kick is going to be a fraction short. Fraser in the front, Thomas in there. The ball's been knocked over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in here. So it's been a dominant performance from the South, their junior competition, which, I mean, it does have double the amount of players, so that gives them a numerical order, but I don't think it's that far. It's only a couple of years ago, 18, 19, the games were within a kick, so there hasn't been a drift necessarily in the performance from the NTJFA. It's just maybe some slightly better structures and just a couple of better players that are running around. But there's still a few kids not in either of these sides. They're obviously in the Devils program that aren't currently playing in either team as the ruck contest again. No other side's really able to win it out. There's a quick hack kick. Fraser gets his left hand onto it. He's unable to get it. Really clear touch. The ball's still just in front of us, just in the commentary box. Brereton swooping down on the footy. Then he quickly gets onto Hardcastle. Hardcastle's kicks just a loose one. Fraser in front position. The punch over the back by Cracknell, and it's going to go out of bounds.
Once again, Fraser getting into a good position there. He's been one of the better players, I think, for the NTJFA so far this afternoon. So we're going to have a ball in here. Most of the attacking done to the right of screen. That's the end that the STJFL are kicking to start the second half. Nice handball out into space there from Elijah Ryan. Ends up with him again. Ball to the hot spot. Williamson's there. He's already kicked a couple. Good hands up there by Shields. Ends up going through for a rushed behind. So
yeah, if Shields' hands wasn't in there, that was a goal, wasn't it?
He did well, and he just got his arms up nice to avoid that tackle too, to be able to get that handball free. So play on. Once again out to this side, the commentary side. Brereton flies for that one. Chesterman with a nice handball, good vision through there to Newstead, and he centres it in towards the hot spot. There's Visor again, overrun it though. In the middle of the ground, Chesterman again with courage.
But that kick needs to be better, doesn't it? I mean, even when you're under pressure, that needs to be a lower kick than that.
Handball there from Meredith, cut off. Can we get some scoreboard pressure now from the North? Handball back in the direction of Carter Roach, and seeing it over the boundary line is Dylan Axton there for the North. In front of the George Miller stand there, as we see them rugged up. The sun's sort of starting to head behind the mountain, and we've got the heater going in here though, Aaron, and it's...
Yeah, it took us about an hour and a half to work out how to use it.
Ball goes towards half forward now. The NTJFA working hard. He's potentially dived on that one there.
Yeah, Rigari could have been in strife then, but in fact was coming out top. He's a tough nut, Rigari. His old man's involved in the coaching too, the NTJFA, but they're just lacking that sort of X factor, aren't they, around the ball?
Yeah, absolutely. There's Thorpe again. And just so much time with the ball. That kick, no, not a nice bit of pressure though, but it still ends up with Watt. His handball out wide. Can he set him up? He's just overrun the footy there as Turnbull. A bit of pressure now. That was better. And Gerard's going to kick the goal. Maverick Gerard there for the NTJFA. They've got their second. And the pressure there, the forward line pressure, that's what we need to see a little bit more of. And we can see it on the Duff TV replay screen here. They're just fighting a bit more for that footy.
Isaac Bramage was great then. He firstly laid a big bump, but then he also laid a block too, just to allow Gerard to get around and get the goal. So, I mean, they're not going to get back and win this game, but I think it's about being involved and engaged. And some of these lads are on the periphery of maybe Devils next year as well, and their selection. There was an under-16 trial game last weekend in Lonnie, so it does mean something. If you're not, your team might not be winning, but you need to stand up and do something positive that the coaches are going, oh, I like that.
Fantastic ruck tap there by Stone, straight down to Atkins, who's been excellent. Inside the 50, Carter Roach working hard. Chesterman again, who's been really, really strong today at centre-half back for the STJFL, and that's going to beat Thorpe and Atkins over the boundary line. But you are right, though. From an individual point of view, I think it's really, really important that they don't drop their heads here, the NTJFA, because people will be watching these sort of games, and there's squads to be picked out of these representative sides. Great handball there from Thorpe. It's a risky ball inboard, but it's found Cracknell here, who...
It was a good kick, though, wasn't it? I mean, you said it was risky, and it was, but it was a tremendous kick to Cracknell. It's
that risk versus reward sort of play, and he used his body beautifully there. Newstead didn't let his opponent get in front of him, and once again, they're quick to release with handball. Turnbull's in there, Watt again. Seems to have a lot of time. He's probably going to need to bounce it now. On the left boot, though, into the middle of the ground. Fantastic vision, Thorpe. Well, there might be a free kick.
I reckon something off the ball here. It's going to go back, though.
I think it's just advantage play on there to Thorpe, who's found Brereton in a paddock. He has one bounce, looks inboard, beautiful vision again, lowered the eyes, and he's found Winston Forrest, who was in a little bit of space there. He's going to handball back to Thorpe, who sort of started this play, driving ball deep, numbers with the Southern Junior Football League. And a great mark taken, once again in a lot of space. And that's Gapin. I think might have 3 to half time. This might be his fourth. Yep. Certainly had a lot of opportunities.
He's had a couple of misses as well, Gapin. He missed one early in that second quarter, which was a running shot. But I think his set shots look pretty good. We've got a good angle here, haven't we, Tom?
Certainly do. He just seems to find space so well, Gapin. And he's a beautiful kick of the ball, isn't he? We've seen that already a couple of times today. And he nails, I reckon that's his fourth. 4 goals, 2 potentially for him. And I think the North defenders just need to start to put a bit of work into him, because he's been extremely dangerous down there.
He's a light kid too, but he's just ability to cover the ground and stay in his feet. But I think it's the delivery, it's the pressure from, or the lack of pressure from the NTJFA mids into the delivery of the ball inside that forward 50 is probably at the moment allowed some easy set shots on goal. And if they had have kicked straight in that second quarter, the STJFL could have been up by a little bit more. We've got some changes in the ruck. Yeah, it's Cooper Shady trying to win it. And now Atkins, just amongst a lot of players, just hacked it. Look a little lost, but now it's Fraser on his wrong side. He decided to stick to his right boot and found the goal kicker in this corner is Jared. He at the last minute screwed it around to Regari. Regari in the pocket, very strong individual. On the few men that can grow a beard in the team. So as a good sign, you wander around and thought, hang on, what's his age? But no, he's definitely in the age bracket. And he's been thrown into that full forward position as Stone, just getting his feet set for this ruck contest is a really good push and shove with Chesterman. I've liked that. A quick snap out of the pack. And he's been engaged a lot, Jared, in this quarter, hasn't he? And he's managed to get that one cleared over the boundary line. And he'll have a throw in here. So it's 9-12 to 2 goals straight. So they have managed to score a goal in this quarter, the NTJFA. Their intensity around the footy's been fine. Their skill and decision-making has been a fairly long way off at the moment.
Just looks like they're a little bit rushed in possession. There's a free kick, there's a whistle.
Well, they were pushing and jostling in the ruck, but I don't know that the umpires have said, oh, we can do it again. All right, let's go. Maybe, was it short, was it, the throw-in?
Well, I thought the whistle came before
as the ball was being thrown. But anyway, we're not umpires. We don't know the rules. Got no idea what's going on. Chessman in the ruck, gets his left hand to Regari, teat in the pocket. It nearly stayed in. It's gone through for a minor score.
And Meredith to take the kick out. And it's a nice ball. Geez, they're quick to go, aren't they? The South. And he plays on as well. And all of a sudden, just like that, they're at centre wing with numbers as well. Ball off hands, good contest there. He might have just held on a fraction long, and I think it's going to be a free kick going North's way. So they'll look to repel now. Ball towards half forward. It just doesn't seem like they've got a lot of options. So once again to the contest, off the back of the pack, smothered off hands. It might trickle out of bounds, and I think that was the result that Angus Cracknell was after. Fraser there hot on his heels, who's having a good game. I think Cale Fraser for the North.
I reckon Cracknell was pretending to pick the ball up, wasn't he?
He was. He just wanted the safety.
Boundary line.
He wanted the safety, and he got it. So once again, perhaps the second choice ruckman for both teams going at it. But once again, the tail of the game, Brereton trying to burst through, but he's got tackled there. A beautiful tackle.
You'd give that a tick though, wouldn't you? I mean, you go, well, he took it on, he saw the gap, and
That's right.
And it's a bit slippy down there. That's probably one of the wetter parts of the ground.
Oliver Atkins, who's going to go into the middle of the ground. I'm not sure exactly if that was the best option. Cut off there by Winston Forrest. At least they're maybe trying to take a few risks though and trying to open the game up. Off hands there from Massey. Great tackle laid, and that's got to be holding the ball.
Well, he had to do that. He had to do that shit because a minute ago he should have gone for that ball.
That's right. Yeah.
And
he owed them one.
Yep.
It's good to see they're looking for that centre corridor kick again. That's marked by Baker. Drives them in long towards half forward. Off hands at the back. Wilbur McMurray once again got his hands up nicely, allowed him to release that handball. This is a risky kick across the face of goal. Geez, they want this to come off. Chance here for Fraser. He picks it up, maybe held a little too long, and I think the umpire agrees. So Fraser's going to have a shot for goal.
He deserves a goal, doesn't he, Fraser? I mean, he's been in and out of the midfield, forward, and he just wants the footy.
He's worked really, really hard. He's getting to a lot of contests, repeat efforts, and like you said, he deserves this one. So he's going to kick from more or less directly in front, 25 metres out from goal. Certainly much more even start to this third quarter. Kept it low, but I think he's done enough. It's got over the top of Noah Meredith.
It wasn't convincing, was it?
It wasn't, no, but got the job done, the desired result. It's in the book. So their second goal for the quarter. And like we say, I think they've probably left it a little too late, but some positive signs in this third term for the North.
So Carl Fraser, who's probably been a utility today, and he's actually playing on the wing at the moment. He's kind of interesting. He's been in and out off the wing and half forward. Often he's actually in the middle. I'd nearly stick him in the middle and go, well, some of these other guys, I don't mind Lenny Faulkner in there. He probably needs to start using the footy a bit, but Isaac Bramich, he's had a little bit of the ball, but he looks a little lost in the middle of the ground. I'd get Fraser. Look at Fraser hunting the ball. Look at him hunting the football. Great tackle coming out. May have given McMurray a free kick away. He was just a little overconfident, and he has given it away. The handball off by Bramich. Don't mind Bramich as a player. He's probably a better player and a better team. He's one of those sort of kids spilled out under Rezzy's hands with the long sleeves on, and then stacks on a mill, coming over the top and laying on everyone is Angus McShane. And we're going to have a throw up. It's a tough going here. Really happy with the conditions, because about 5 days ago the wind was just below hurricane level. Fraser darting his way out of the pack. The high ball under some pressure up high towards Ship. Ship's going to get onto the ground level. He's going to fight with Massey. He's also going to have to fight with the boundary line, and the boundary line wins. There's the Hutchins logo there.
Yeah, that'll be there. I reckon they haven't probably got
who's meant to go and take that home?
Got around to picking that up from yesterday's game. Unfortunately, they got beaten pretty comfortably by the OHA Ships in the Dane Swan game.
Yeah, the Ships have been, well, it's interesting, the old scholars.
It's always fascinating competition this year.
It's a little up and down. It's a slap handball out by Brereton. Coming out is Faulkner. Lenny's kick in the end wasn't effective. He looked for a handball. He tried to find a teammate. It's just that communication again from the NTJFA. He really needed to release that ball backwards. One of their half backs come up and then get a much more effective kick, but in the end he looked up and he had no one to go to. You mentioned before the backup ruck, but Holton's been all right actually.
Yes.
He's up against Turnbull. He's got some long limbs on him too. Neither team could get it out. Just falling on his bum. His bum was Riley Stone, who's been playing in the ruck most of the time, and they're going to have another one.
So we've seen the ball sort of stuck on that side of the left, far side of the ground for the last few minutes now. We've seen repeat stoppages. That's Jericho Dickens, I think, the boundary umpire, as he brings it back into play. Nice tap down there from Turnbull. Releases Williamson, who's actually gone onto the ball. So we saw him kick a couple of goals in the first half. Oh, fantastic tackle. How's the umpire going to see this? Did he get into his back? Did he infringe? No, he didn't. It's holding the ball.
Right call, don't you think? Let's
potentially
have a look at the
50 metres, I reckon, there, because he just did not give the ball back.
Yeah, no, good call.
Ryan Shields there, I think, was the North player who didn't give the ball back on the full when he's paid the penalty. Definitely a 50-metre for sure there.
It was like, ugh.
And he's played on. He's going to head towards goal. Numbers with Brereton at the back. Quick handball over the top. Quick snap. I don't know what's happened there.
I think MJ thought it was a goal.
So did I. I think we all did, and it almost still did turn into a goal. In fact, it is. I reckon that might have hit the post.
That was,
I'd love to see the replay on that one.
There was plenty happening. No. So the North NTJFA.
It's the second time this has happened today, Aaron. And it's our man again, this goal umpire, who's having a good day, but just maybe a couple of...
I just think the field umpire didn't signal, and he's scored at a goal. And Isaac Smedley set us a point. And Isaac's old man's a junior umpire. Well, we'll have a look at the replay.
I'm thinking right goalpost here. I'm thinking right goalpost. It might have just hit.
It's not going to make a difference, though, is it?
No. It might have been a slight deviation there.
Might have just deviated. Where should he have been, though? I don't know. That's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a tough one to get across.
Confusion everywhere, not less in this commentary box. But it's a goal nonetheless.
He's a squeeze, isn't he? We've only got one very small table, too. We've got Jack Russell Duffy with his computer doing his work to the left. But he's very close to me at the moment. No social distancing in the commentary box.
Look at Williamson out of the middle again. Long driving ball towards full forward. Maybe just holding there, I reckon, on Ryan. And I think he's going to earn himself a free kick. He'll have a shot for goal. Quick back-to-back goals potentially here for the STJFL. That one, I don't know if he's got the journey, but playing in front. There was Eden Hills, who's having a pretty good day himself. Just one behind there, though. Playing on now is Smedley. The nice long ball. McMurray just gets through him, and a beautiful pick-up from Bramage, who has been good today. That's a better handball, better passage of play this by the North, and that kick in long we go. I think Regari there is just trying to work hard in close quarters, potentially got one high, nothing doing. Chesterman's working in there as well. Ball spills out to McMurray. Once again, just opens those hands up beautifully. Got it off the Turnbull, but I reckon that's just going to elude McShane and go out in the full. So once again, they'll be able to surge this ball forward North.
That was good for the NTJFA. A lot of pressure there. Chip goes in, and that finds Rezic. He's got a couple of stationary options. He needs a lead from someone. Regari at the back, he provides a bit of pressure. Ship was going to swoop down onto it. In the end, he couldn't quite get it. Rezic from the pocket squirts it back around. A lot of NTJFA players there, but unfortunately they're all jumping for the footy, and they probably should have been going down to the ground. And STJFL swarm out of defence, and they've got it now towards centre wing. Ball's being knocked over the back by Thorpe. Then the quick kick goes forward up towards centre half. Chase on here, 1v2, the two number 5s. Brom what there first, and now coming back onto it was Forrest. Forrest's kick, we had 2 players to hit. Forrest didn't waste any time, and there's another player in the pocket, and that was just a little bit too easy, and the defence...
I'd love to see the replay of that one, sorry Aaron. The pick up there from Forrest, and then the vision inside. He did have 2. Have a look at this for a one-handed pick-up on the left. It
was clever, wasn't it? But then even this next kick, but he had a bunch of options. He could have even done the handball. Right. Anyway, Barrett in the pocket, dobs one for himself, cruises past the defender, and the goal umpire has no problem with that one and signals a goal and extends a lead here for the Southern Junior Football League. We'll have another look. There's that swoop again. And he was under some pressure too, so he actually managed to get the ball while being pressured. And I feel a little sorry there for Zach Jones. He had 3 players he was trying to defend. I can see Pacer Mark and the runner for the NTJFA from my position trying to give some instructions. He is the under-18 coach for some Pats in North, coming back to some coaching this year. He's maybe seen some things that trying to provide some instructional work as Stone back in the ruck. There's a win out the back to Cooper Shady. The kick though, first player in front, the option. Once again, this clever use of feet from the STJFL has just got them advantage. Ogilvie couldn't win it, and Ogilvie's probably played a high tackle. Then you could see what he was trying to do on Thomas. Thomas slipped over as Ogilvie came through and tried to take his scon off. Now Thomas with a chip. It's reasonable if it can be held on. It can be as the juggling mark taken. And he looks up for a handball. Decides no. Now it's a high ball. It's touched off the boot. Maybe not. Coming from the side was Ship. He couldn't quite grab the footy. Then he came in and laid a tackle, and he's held it up around 40 out. So it's 11-13 to 3 goals too. So the NTJF managed to get a couple of scores in very late stages of this third quarter. Either team. Atkins in there. he tried to get it. Now then shaking off the tackle and the little chip kick on. It's a nice little ball, and the umpire's actually called that one to Miller. Miller handballs back over the top. He tried to find some run. He was probably looking for Forrest at the first point, and then in the end it probably was Ryan's ball, and he'll chuck over the boundary with about a dozen seconds left with another quarter to go. The people at the ground, I can tell you, are rugged up. They're a hearty lot. I went and got a toasted sandwich earlier. That was about the only warm thing in the canteen. It is three-quarter time here in this representative game. It's 11-13, 79 to 3-2-20. The NTJFA certainly worked their way back into it. And some thoughts from Tom until we have a bit of a break here and we go to the last stanza.
I think they might have just extended their lead only by the 10 points in that quarter. So a couple of goals to the NTJFA. It's not a lot of movement up forward for them at the moment. I think they're just struggling to find those targets. They're kicking to stationary targets at the moment, and players like Chesterman and Watt and these boys down back for the STJFL just seem to be able to come across and take those intercepting marks. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this final quarter. But as we said, there's plenty on the line. Although the scoreline might not suggest we've got a close contest, for these players from an individual point of view, I think there's still plenty to play for.
It's about where we thought the game would be. So the NTJFA metrics not good, but certainly some players that were really engaged. I thought Oliver Atkins and Cooper Shady really tried hard. Lenny Faulkner probably had his best quarter then as well. Just a couple of times ship up forward. I thought Maverick Jared, just for 3 or 4 minutes, got in the game, scored a goal. But yeah, just really overrun. Rezic came into the ruck late and was a really good contributor, but in the end, some individual stuff required from them. The STJFL well on top. You're with Aaron Roberts and Tom Green here on Dub TV. We're going to have our last break. We'll grab a hot drink to keep us going. A couple of minutes away until the last quarter. We'll be back soon.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.
Having trouble finding an after-hours doctor for your family? Sometimes we need medical assistance when everything is closed. In the Old Bridges Brothers Building, 71 Bathurst Street, After-Hours Dr Hobart is open every day till 10 p.m. Phone for an appointment or book online. And for added convenience, you'll also find your Hobart Chemist also open until 10. When minor accidents and illness happen, we're here for you. After Hours Dr Hobart and your Hobart Chemist, open till 10 p.m. every day.
Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, delicious in every way. Loving the taste, love it homemade, their own recipes, freshly baked. Brighton's Best Bakehouse, love that homemade taste.
Rightio, one more time here on Duff TV, NTJFA, STJFL representative football. We've got 20 minutes left. Aaron Robertson, Tom Green. Tom, what can we hope from the NTJFA individuals to finish this one off?
Well, I've just seen Marty Brereton head to the bench, so that's got to be a positive sign. So
how do they keep him there? So that the thing somehow stop him from coming on?
That's right. It all starts in the middle here, I think. Now they've just got to start trying to get the ball moving forward. The ruck tap was nice, and here they go, actually. That's just as if on cue.
Well,
that's a high ball.
I think they've got Faulkner in the middle, so that's not bad.
And a nice mark there from Oliver Atkins, who's been one of their better players. Drives it towards centre forward. But look at the numbers. It's 4-on-1 here, so it's going to be hard for him to really escape with anything but a draw. And he's probably done pretty well there to be able to halve that contest. Cooper Shady, who's been one of the better players for the NTJFA. Ball up. Traditional centre forward position. Once again, Shady there. Swings it onto his right boot. Heads down towards Fraser. Just probably fell to ground, so he was out of that contest there. Now the working towards half-back. Shady in there again. I reckon he's got him high. It might be a free kick to Lenny Faulkner there. As you said, he started in the middle. He's just gone forward, and I reckon he's just caught one over the shoulder. It's going to be a tough kick from that angle and that distance.
Yeah, the legs, or just the distance of kicks has been really poor today. Maybe it's the high cold humidity that's around, but haven't seen many long driving kicks, have we?
They have been falling short, so I'd be saying to the North boys to make sure they're in front here. Well, that's a nice looking kick though from Faulkner. It's a beautiful kick, and I think it's got the journey. So they got the first of the third, they get the first of the fourth. It's a beautiful kick from Faulkner. He's been one of their better players, and that's certainly a positive. So he started in the middle at this centre bounce, and he's just drifted forward. He got one high, and he's converted. So 4-2-26 now for the NTJFA.
Jeez, he's given it a good whack, hasn't he?
It's a beauty. It's an absolute fantastic finish. He's just sort of given himself that extra couple of metres by wheeling out onto that right boot. Back in the middle now, and I think the captain, Noah Meredith, potentially for the South, has gone into the ruck and comprehensively beaten there by Stone, who's been brilliant as well for the North all day in there. Working hard. Oh, Gapin again. Pick up and a scrambling kick towards half forward. Nice pick up by Williamson. Handball off to Brereton. That's Harry Brereton. Drives it inside 50. Coming at the ball was Thorpe. Couldn't quite hold onto the ball. Spills out the back to Thorpe. He ends up with it anyway. Quick handball there to Visor. Out the back, but nobody there for the South. Good play from Blunt. Blunt with a high ball. Not really favouring any of his teammates. Working in there hard was Faulkner again, maybe in the back. I reckon he's got one there. Thorpe, who's sort of been pretty busy the last sort of 30 seconds. Quick handball off to Cracknell, back to Thorpe. Kick towards goal, and I think he's got a bit on this one as well. So it heads right to the goal line. Playing in front is Williamson. Is he going to be able to get boot to ball? I don't think he has, but it hasn't gone over the line yet. And I reckon the umpire, and this will be interesting to see how he adjudicates this.
Held up on the line, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they'll be looking to try and get this one through, potentially for a point. Eden Hills. Oh, and it ends up, it's a quick snap there by Elijah Ryan, and it's gone through for a goal. Fantastic crafty work there from the forward.
You'd strangle yourself, wouldn't you, if you, the coach, to see a goal scored there after a contest.
You're just in the ruck there. They just need to be going to the safety of the boundary line, don't they? I think they've just sort of, he's tapped that right into the central corridor, favoured the South there. And
well, it's got to go. It's either out. It's got to go through a point, or at least go towards the pocket, doesn't it? The last place you put it is either back in traffic, where you give the opposition a chance, and they've extended. They got the first goal on the board, 12-13-85 to 4-3-27. It's some work to be done from Stone in the ruck, and it's one out by the new ruckman Meredith in this quarter. He kicks it up high. Thomas was in there first. He then came back through a second time and just fell onto his knees. The players stand up in the tackle. Around 45 out as this game is winding up. The STJFL winning the girls match. So the South dominating rep footy over the weekend. They won 3 of the 4 rep games yesterday, with the men's senior team the only winners for the northern part of the state. So a little bit of pride towards the South. Yeah, they've got double the population, but I think the Northerners are still pretty keen to hold some of those trophies. Dancing around that ball was Cracknell, who's been a really consistent performer throughout the day. And the umpire's been great, hasn't it, Tom, throughout this day as well?
Both games, they've been fantastic, especially considering there was an injury early.
Yeah, we saw dramas, didn't we, the first couple of minutes. Cooper Shady onto it first. He gets around one. He then goes to Fraser, who's actually manned up. Atkins then dives onto the football. The kick goes in short. It's ineffective. Chesterman onto it first. Managed to get round a couple of tackles, Chesterman, but eventually the weight of numbers from the NTJFA is a little bit of energy from Cooper Shady. Can't say his last name. I've got to add his Christian name, and he's at the same time it just sounds better. It's still loose, and the ball's being tracked by Chesterman again. The ball's been hacked out by Holton, and the umpire said, look, I reckon you've been tripped, and it's going to be a Cooper Shady free kick. I reckon he deserves that one. So Cooper Shady is just forward of the centre circle here. He's really got a lead on it. He's just going to chop it up high. Isn't many opportunities now for either of his team to get onto it. The best was Zargveld, and then gets out the handball and the snap on towards the forward pocket. A juggling mark taken. And the STJFL should just get this out to the far side. Finds Thorpe. Thorpe just misses a footy. Cracknell in there as well. Cracknell loses the footing, and then the quick rush kick comes out towards Atkins. He'll get onto it first. He taps it in front of himself and then dragged down is healed and taken over the boundary line.
Might have come off a boot there, I think, and I think it has. So it's going to be a free kick to, is that Gapin? There it is, Maxi Gapin. So he looks inboard again. It's got to be a good kick, and I think it is. It's a beautiful kick to Williamson, who's been fantastic both in the air and on the ground today. Drives it inside 50 now. Attacking the footy very, very well. Nicely done by Smedley there for North, and he's still going at it, isn't he? So he's worked tirelessly hard all day, Isaac Smedley.
Yeah, he's probably not used to playing off half-back, but he's actually pretty effective sort of half-backer.
Back in the ruck again, Stone and Turnbull there. Nice handball there from Thomas. Releases Axton, who's been tackled. Held it quite a long time, managed to get rid of the ball. There's McMurray, who started this final quarter on the bench, but he's back out there now. Quick handball finds Williamson, and he's short. Lowered his eyes nicely to Thorpe. Off a standing start. Hits the post.
Deserved a goal then, Thorpe did. That was such a good build-up.
And he's had a fantastic final quarter, Thorpe. He's been in the thick of things. He started in the midfield in this final term, and he's been really lively. Back out they come now, the North. That's a better kick. Unfortunately, just couldn't stick the mark. Gapin with a nice handball in there. I think Ryan working hard. He was a goal kicker earlier in this quarter. But a hack kick out of there to centre wing. George Chesterman working hard.
That's kicking in danger, isn't it? Whatever
definitely.
The rule is.
Every day of the week, I think. And Chesterman's been really solid down back today for the South. So he's an option he likes, but a really strong mark from Axton. He's had a couple of good moments in this final term. So he looks up. Oh, nearly chased down by Williamson. Managed to get his kick away, but perhaps affected. And once again, Meredith drives it long. Geez, he's got a thumping kick on him, doesn't he? McShane's been set a task here. Both the boys with the helmets there, Thorpe and McShane just bullets his way through onto the non-preferred left boot. It looks all right. What way is it going to bounce towards goal? And just thumped over the line for a throw-in there by Smedley again.
Really interesting for McShane. He just had more energy, didn't he? More motivation. Maybe when you lead him by 60 odd points, you are more motivated, but he's been really consistent throughout the day.
There's a few of those boys with the helmets on, isn't it? So it's a bit hard to distinguish. Nice tackle from Williamson, dispossessed. Chance here from Smedley again. We'll have another bounce. More ball up. Newstead in the ruck for the South. There's Shady again in the thick of things. Williamson just burrows his way through, doesn't he? He might get it back. Arms up again was nice by Hills. Quick snap. Paid the mark, just the 15. Clearing kick out to the half-back flank. Well played there from Massey, and he squares the ball in. Beautiful vision, and he's found Newstead again. He's going to have a shot for goal.
Once again, that ability to not be under as much pressure, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there was a bit there, but just such a good kick.
I think we've played on here. It's ended up with Visor. Smothered ball was nice there by Axton. Still with Axton, gets his handball away. McShane in there again. Good use of the hands. Carter Roach, I think it might be, who has a flying shot at goal, but it's across the face. What I've noticed, I don't know about you, Aaron, with the ball movement going forward from the South, is they're just lowering their eyes. They're not kicking to that sort of contest. They lower their eyes, lower their vision, and they're finding that free man, and they've done that countless occasions today.
But it must be part of what they've been learning at training, isn't it? That's obviously something that's been instilled by the coaches. I haven't seen many bounce on the ground. I think that's the third bounce we've seen throughout the day. I know we saw a bounce early in the quarter. It's had a free kick to Ship, I think. Just, no, it's not a free kick to Ship. Rezik's got it, so he's going to go to the middle. But even then, that kick has just put on a fair bit of pressure then to Berwick. He's been pretty quiet. And then the follow-up handball from Axton to Berwick didn't really help him out again, spinning one way. And then the rush kick up high. Once again, STJFL player still would have tried to find someone, even though he's under pressure, and also would have had someone to kick to. So that's purely a structural thing. Now, that's a really nice kick. Up top first was the NTJFA defender, and it's been brought to ground. But once again, such a dangerous, low, penetrating kick really puts your opposition under some pressure as Stone will go into the ruck. He's up against Turnbull. The flick out handball. Now the NTJFA, his Ship will get onto. He had a handball over the top. He decides he's going to go to one-on-one to Rigari. Rigari's been pretty much beaten all day down to defence as Hardcastle comes out. And he's had a positional swap, and it's Stacks on a meal, and the last one on there is Forrest, and he'll have a throw up again. It's been a real task for Rigari. It's not, doesn't look like his natural position. I feel like he's majority played forward in his community footy club. Dished out handball, it's okay. It's been really good in this corner, Forrest. He's been able to keep his eyes, keep confident. There's a clash of heads. Now there's a storm out. It's going to be another one. It's going to be an easy goal to Williamson, and he's kicked, I think, his second.
Might have even been his third. I reckon he kicked a couple early in the first quarter, potentially. He's been everywhere. And once again, at ground level, he's quite a tall young man, but I think he's just as good below his knees, and we can just see...
It's a good little tap, wasn't it?
It was clever. It was clever.
Just kept the ball rolling towards their goal. Nearly the two-handed bounce too from Williamson.
And we haven't seen many bounces today, although in this last quarter I reckon we've seen 5 or 6. So
yeah, maybe the players getting a bit more confident.
Starting to take the game on.
Oliver Atkins just coming back on the ground, and Lenny Faulkner's probably been the North's best so far in this quarter. He's going to have a little rotationary breather, but I reckon he'll be back on the ground pretty quickly. Zach Jones just waiting on the bench, and I think a 6-6. We've got a...
What's happening here?
No, it's going to be a free kick at centre half forward. Is that the... I've had to just double check. It's Stone's free kick. I actually thought that kick should be just in the middle of the ground, so maybe that's just a little rule that I'm not completely familiar with. Ship had a lead, and he's just going to bomb it. I don't know how that helps any one of his teammates.
This has been their problem all day, Aaron.
Yeah, and all it does is just allow, just sweeping across was Meredith. He chips it wide. Now they've got a player further up. It's not the best kick to Turnbull. It goes over his head. Flying out is Axton. He had to lay a bit of pressure. He can't necessarily do that. Spilling the ball through his hands was Shields, who's been a little quiet. Now it's dished out the side to Ryan. Ryan nicks the ball over the top. Runners on here. It's dished out again towards Visor. Visor's been dragged down.
Once again, the vision there from Ethan Williamson just to use that central corridor kick, that lateral kick to set the play up. Found some space. And then...
Look at the runners. None of them are under pressure, are they? They're just too often watching the ball. It's a strange phenomenon that you get caught up when you're often a ball winner at your clubland. You just naturally track the footy and suddenly get to represent your footy, and you're playing in a slightly different position. As Michael Visor has a shot from about 45. He's really given absolutely everything into that one. It's sliding back, not quite enough, and it's gone through for a minor.
Isaac's Medley to take the kick out now for North, so... About 7 minutes left in this one. It's been a tough day for North, but let's see if they can salvage something in the last sort of 6 or 7 minutes. Good contest there by Page. Gets the handball out. What can they do? Can they work it out of here? And it's nice play there from Browan. Kick into the middle of the ground. Off hands, and I reckon that might have been Axton again, who's having a good quarter. Nice pass there, and down low. Had to get really low. He's a tall young man. The handball off towards Jared. And they've got the numbers in here. They could ruffle this. Don't think he's held onto it, and in the end Hardcastle there to lend us a bit of support.
So they're not even winning the raffle, the NTJFA at the moment.
It's a raffle that only they could really win. Unfortunately, Brady Hield there couldn't quite hold onto it. Ruck again, and Meredith thumps it towards the boundary line. Just falls into the lap though of the North player there, but couldn't quite gather it. Numbers with them here, so they're working hard. Jared again, and
Jared's
I reckon,
got a high tackle,
I reckon he would have got one over the shoulder. So he's shown some signs, Maverick Jared.
He's going to have a good curly mullet when he gets older too.
Absolutely.
Looks like he's trying to grow it out.
It's coming on well. It's a nice kick, but it's going to be cut off, isn't it? Now they can go. They can really go. I think that might be Anthony Volta here, some Virgil's College product with a handball that probably just missed his target, didn't it there, ever so slightly in Miller. And the turnover, they might have some numbers here, I reckon. And they do out the back if they can get that handball out, or a scrubby little kick to Ship. It's out of play. Hardcastle sees it across the line.
It's chalk and cheese, isn't it? That was maybe the narrative or the story of the game. STJFL won the ball from a turnover in a forward half of the NTJFA and streamed forward. Just that missed handball, wasn't it? Probably nearly running too fast, but yeah, that's been the story of the day.
Hardcastle and Holton to do battle. So Hardcastle, that's the I guess the benefit of having it at full back is you can take those rucks. Ends up at the half-back line now. Let's see what happens here. A big thump there from the North player in Shields. And a nice scrubby little kick forward. They've got the numbers again up forward here. Little snap. The mark's taken though by the captain there again, Noah Meredith, who's been pretty rock solid down there all day in the back line. Finds its way into the hands there of Cracknell. He's got a bit of time now. Use the ball. What's he going to do? He heads towards centre wing. Great courage coming back there from the South player. I think
Carter Roach was it?
I think it was Hamish Watt potentially, who started really, really well. And then Carter Roach there was at the bottom of the pack. Turnbull in the ruck again against Stone. That might be holding the ball. I don't know if he disposed of that one correctly there. Cracknell potentially the advantage play onto Atkins. Drives it long inside 50, deep in that forward pocket. Ship lurking. Out of play, boundary throw in.
Yeah, had a decent chance then, Brad Hill, to get jump on it. But just, once again, the kick didn't really favour him. It was a rush kick in when it didn't need to be.
Hardcastle and Holton again doing battle. Hardcastle trying to work his way to the front of the pack there. A little bit scrappy in there. Chesterman again working in close quarters. Nice handball out. And then that vision was brilliant to find Miller in a little bit of space. And that was all he needed because the kick was fantastic. Once again, corridor. That's the way they look, isn't it? Fraser was there. Off hands. Watt working hard. McShane again. Just got a boot to it. And it falls towards, in the direction of Visor. Managed to step around a couple. Quick handball over to Forrest. Still in tight quarters there. Good handball from Hills. Quick snap towards goal. Far side, one behind.
Maybe the stage where everyone's trying to snag one late just to get on the camera.
Get on the highlights reel.
So Smedley with that run out, he's pretty much used his side. He can nearly predict exactly where Isaac's going. It's instructional stuff from his dad, maybe, just to get it to the attacking side of traditionally attacking sides. Certainly the girls knew it was attacking side as Williamson. He gets it up towards the middle, just gets over the top of the fingers of Berwick, who's been reasonably quiet. Sometimes does play forward, Berwick. He nearly lays a tackle. Volta with a snap. Volta's missed. Under some pressure then, Volta.
I've loved the work of Wilbur McMurray in the middle of the ground in this second half. I just love the way he gets his arms free. Been able to release that handball when tackled and under pressure.
Yeah, it's certainly a modernish thing, isn't it? There,
yeah.
Where players are able to still get another player involved in the game. There was a good jump there by the NTJFA, as being dragged down by Cracknell, trying to spin out in that tackle. Unsuccessfully was Jared, who's come in there swooping down. He's had a lot of the ball. Chesterman, that occasion though, he had no success. Shields
off the ground too, wasn't that good? Gained some meterage.
Yeah. That may have been a high tackle on the umpire seat. In fact, he got hit high twice then. Bramage, who's been probably the best in the NTJFA in this second half. He's just on half back and he's taken a fair divot out of North Hobart Oval as well, as he just hope to get it up to a player as he buffs it up towards centre wing, and then they'll jump onto the footy. So late stages here. We've got about a minute to go before we all stop things. It's been mostly well-behaved stuff out there from all parties and also those involved in the commentary box too. Tackle laid by McMurray. Tommy Green's favourite, I reckon, and got good hair too, hasn't he?
Fantastic hair.
I think we all, as you get a bit older like I have, your hair doesn't have the same sort of spruce about it. He's certainly got a boosh ongoing as Stone in the ruck. Effective. Now it's knocked out towards Bramich. Bramich again looked around and it's handled. He might get it back himself.
It's been good, Bramich.
Well, he's got energy, doesn't he? I think that's partly part of it is in a game or an invasion sport. Jared now, he looks like he's running on the ball. Thomas maybe there first, spilling the ball, dancing around as a player. A lot of it is Forrest. Maybe one last goal here from the NTJFA. Handball over the top of Williamson. Steaming out and trying to steady things is Burham. Burham's ineffective with his handball. Then he lays it, and that's a siren. All done and dusted here at North Hobart Oval. And a convincing victory here for the STJFL. 13-17, 95 to 4-3-27 on the Best Brighton Bakehouse scoreboard. It's been a commanding performance here, but in the end, a pretty good second half, or at least a good last 30 minutes. The last part of the third quarter and then the first and last part of the last quarter was good from the NTJFA. They really threw a bit around. But Tom Green, your last thoughts before we wrap it up.
Thanks very much for having me today, Aaron, on Duff TV. It's been a brilliant day of footy, and obviously the STJFL just a little bit too strong in the end. The second half, much improved, the NTJFA. They took Marty Brereton out of the game actually at three-quarter time, so we didn't see much of him or at all in that last quarter, and it probably evened things up around the middle of the ground. But some fantastic performances across the board and across the whole ground for the STJFL. I thought Ethan Williamson's game up forward, he was outstanding, and then through the middle of the ground, obviously, we've spoken a little bit about Wilbur McMurray and his hair. We love that. Hamish Watt was good. Winston Forrest up forward too. Maxie Gapin bobbed up with 3 or 4 goals as well. And the Brereton boys too. And it wasn't all doom and gloom though for the NTJFA. I think number 9, Cooper Shady, was just instrumental in that midfield. He worked hard all day along with Oliver Atkins, and we loved number 4, Cale Fraser, as well. So there were some positive signs there for the NTJFA, and I can tell you what, I think Tasmanian footy's in pretty safe hands because there's certainly some young developing talent coming through, and well done to Troy Bennett and his young men on a pretty resounding victory in the end, as both teams sort of gather there in the middle of North Hobart Oval as they head towards their respective change rooms.
Yeah, be pretty happy there. I imagine Bennett, good effort from him. The NTJFA already had a rep game this series or this season, early in the year before they kicked off their competition, where they were probably worse than this performance today. They've managed to turn things around in some aspects, and maybe some of the kids who aren't playing will get a chance to have a go next year. But really important that a lot of these kids are graduating out of this competition and moving into underage or even senior football. What we have seen over the last couple of years, a lot of these guys actually move straight into senior TSL footy or senior SFL or NTFA community football. They're actually, you know, this is a group that'll be the next group of star community footballers, and there's probably about 7 or 8, you know, really good TSL kids in both teams that'll be coming out after this. So it's really good that they get an opportunity to represent their local competition in a representative format. So there they are, the STJFL heading off the ground. The final scores here at North Hobart Oval: 13-17, 95. Comprehensive victory to 4-3-27 by the STJFL. Once again, thanks to all those that were involved. The NTJFA got on the bus early and headed down, and those that came down in their cars. Thanks to the Duff TV crew, MJ on camera, who was navigating a new beast for himself. Jack on the V-Mix and pots and pans with some instructional stuff from G. Monk, Martindale from afar. Tommy Green, thank you very much for your effort today. Fantastic call. Loved your description, your game today. So thanks, Tom, for your efforts.
Thank you, Aaron, for having me, mate. You've been fantastic. You're very good sounding board for me as well, mate. Plenty of years of experience that you've had in the commentary box, mate. So.
Well, you know, Tubes Taylor's nowhere to be seen at the moment. He's doing some sort of radio gig, so he's bigger than us. So thanks those out there. It's been a very cold day here in Hobart. We hope you enjoyed it in the land of Duff TV. We hope you enjoyed the coverage of both the STJFL winning both games. They won the girls' game early in the day to break a bit of a backbone and a dominance from the north, and then they dominated the boys' game here. But a terrific game of footy. I've been Aaron Roberts, you've been on Duff TV, this has been Representative Footy, and we'll see you soon.
This program brought to you by IGA, where the locals matter.